I asked my boyfriend's mother's friend for medical emergency advice. She snapped.
Oh, snap.
Sounds like if she snapped, she's going to need more medical emergency advice. I, 27 female, found out I was pregnant via an at-home test late on Thursday afternoon. I recently moved to the area where my boyfriend grew up, and I don't have a doctor here yet. My boyfriend and his mom are currently away visiting family across the country. By the way, this comes from Shawty1. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So I'm very close with his mom and have also gotten close with her best friend, 45 female, who's also temporarily living with her locally and is an ER doctor here. We got some doctor advice within the vicinity of the household.
Very doctorly.
Very doctorly. And this is why I need immediate medical advice. On Thursday evening, after countless unanswered calls, I debated going to the ER for testing an ultrasound. While not ideal, I needed to see my specialist ASAP. For context, I had an ectopic pregnancy a few years ago that resulted in sudden internal bleeding and a near passing away emergency surgery. Because of that, I'm at very high risk for another ectopic pregnancy, making immediate medical evaluation crucial. So after discussing the situation with my boyfriend and taking his advice, I called his mom's friend, the ER doctor, who was home and off duty. Here's the call. I explained my situation very directly and calmly, asking for her direction. She told me not to rush to the ER and instead gave me a referral for the next day. I expressed how appreciative I was. She told me to call if anything came up that evening, and the conversation ended amicably. The unexpected text. Fast forward 3 days, and at 12 a.m., I received this text from her with some redactions for privacy. I feel that it is necessary that I make you aware of a few things. I feel that it is wholly inappropriate that you involve me in your personal drama. Zandra, boyfriend's mom, is my best friend. I was placed in a no-win situation by a person who clearly doesn't understand boundaries. A person who relies on the fact that people are kind and accommodating even when their personal comfort is compromised. The sweet, unassuming, innocuous, helpless little girl act is just that, an act. What I see is a subversive, manipulative, sociopathic person who had to go out of her way to ruin Zandra's vacation. And you used me to do it because you clearly have issues with boundaries. I'm going to make this crystal clear. I am not interested in any further interaction with you. The doctor, last name, free clinic, is closed. You have crossed the line, and I do not want to be saddled with your issues, medical or otherwise. There is no need to respond to this text.
They put it at a no reply email.
Where did that come from? Basically, she just asked like, hey, do you think I should go to the ER?
It's not a young person, but she's 27 and it's scary to be going through this. I mean, asked a doctor advice and I was like, what should I do?
Now, has OP been badgering them like over and over and over and over and over with a bunch of stuff? That's a different story.
Also, it's just like risk an ectopic pregnancy. This is not just drama. This is life and passing away.
Literally that. You can't answer one question for that. I don't get it. Maybe we're missing something here. I don't know.
I'm a little confused. I mean, the next question here is, am I the a-hole? There's more to this story, but like, is OP the a-hole?
Absolutely not. Asking one question, absolutely not. Again, it's like, okay, where's the like reasonable line?
If OP was going every day saying like, is this mole okay? Is this mole okay? How about this mole? Yeah. Can you look inside my butt cheeks at this mole too? That would be too much.
One question seems fine. For that response, wow.
Not the a-hole for sure. But let's see if we get more context on what the heck this could possibly be. While calling her was a difficult choice and truly the last resort, the more I sit with that text message, the more I wonder if I was the a-hole for not considering the position I was putting her in. I can see how she might have felt that I overstepped given her friendship with Zandra. However, I can't shake the fact that as a medical professional, she reduced my legitimate health concerns over a high-risk pregnancy to drama and in a midnight text 3 days later. I know I was asking a huge favor, but at the time, I thought it was the best option in a tough situation where I was alone. So am I the a-hole for involving someone who I now clearly know didn't want to be involved in my pregnancy situation? Edit, our phone call was at 5 p.m., not 12 a.m. 12 a.m. was when I received the text message 3 nights later. We have an update.
Wild take. Do you think this friend struggles with infertility?
We have seen that come up before.
Good call out, but I mean, if so, yes. That paints context.
Yeah, but also like an ectopic pregnancy, isn't that not usually viable? I believe it's not viable. So it's not like she would be jealous of a non-viable pregnancy, right?
Also, this is not a person I would want as my doctor. Not at all. They'd be like, ugh, you're here with your petty little drama. It's like, oh yeah, my leg just fell off. Sorry for bothering you.
Go somewhere else where they care. Maybe the theater. You can have a whole stage to break your leg. So I took the advice of many of you to show and discuss the text I received from the doctor friend with my boyfriend and his mom. Here's an update and the conclusion to this situation for anyone interested. We are. My boyfriend and I, both equally confused, spoke with his mom. She was shocked by the text language, but as many guessed, she knew missing context and wasn't entirely surprised the friend reached out. And here's what she shared. The doctor friend called her Thursday night, told her I was pregnant, high risk, past ectopic, and asked if she knew. On Friday, she called again, and the tone was definitely different. She expressed that she was very upset with me, thought I was irresponsible for not being on birth control given my past rupture, ectopic rupture, was questioning what kind of person I am, and was concerned that my boyfriend and his mom were being severely misled. My boyfriend's mom received many texts and 2 more phone calls during the trip. So maybe like she's thinking, oh, is there a baby trap situation going on?
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's the doctor friend. She's like doing all the calls and all the messages. It's like, you're creating the drama.
If you don't want to be involved in the drama, stop blowing up my phone.
Stop being involved.
So my boyfriend's mom received many texts and 2 more phone calls during the trip. My boyfriend asked if he could have the text so we could understand exactly what was happening. She said yes. One text in particular sums up the gist of the doctor's perspective and helps clarify why she sent me what she did. This all feels irresponsible, yet calculated. I keep thinking I could get a call that she's not responsive, drive over there and find her passed away with her dog running around. I know how much that would devastate boyfriend. I was there through the mourning of one of his best friends who passed away tragically from drowning a few years ago. I can't see him and you go through that pain again and feel I'd be a bad friend to not share this concern about her character, intentions, and health. No point in sharing my views on this here. More importantly, how did the conflict conclude? We're to get that information a little bit. Is it a HIPAA violation if it's not in a actual like doctor-patient relationship? She's just a doctor. But in terms of doctor stuff, I think it's only if you're in a actual like patient-doctor relationship, not just like a friend who's a doctor giving advice.
I really don't know. And also just the jump from like, oh yeah, she might be pregnant to, oh, she might fall down one day and the dog's running amok. Like, what are you talking about? You are taking leaps like Lance Armstrong on the moon.
No point in sharing my views on this here. More importantly, how did this conclude? So my boyfriend said he will never speak to the doctor again. He feels like she used him to manipulate his mom into mistrusting me. He is furious that if the doctor cares as much about him as she claimed in the messages, she never texted or called him once to make sure she had her facts straight. Birth control assumption incorrect. So she was on birth control. And still, it's why you always have double layers of protection. She had never texted or called him once to make sure she had her facts straight. Birth control assumption incorrect. Or even to check that I was not passed away with my dog running around. Sorry, what the F? His mom will handle it however she wants to. That is private between her and her best friend, as I think it should be, which is kind of good. Like now OP is like, I'm not going to participate in this drama anymore.
Yeah, in the drama you created.
Personally, I think I was the a-hole for calling the doctor, all context now considered. I regret it, and while I will remain baffled by her series of decisions made between our call and her text, even now, knowing where her head was, the best I can do is move on, as we all should. By the way, you should listen to full episodes with stories just like this, not a little one. Listen to our whole catalog. Listen to the whole ocean of stories. Don't pull out early on us. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime.
Every episode to completion.
There's another relevant update, but let's discuss. John, what do you think?
Dude, I think that the doctor friend is crazy. OP's in the right. And honestly, distance yourself from doctor friend because they seem to be not a great friend or a great doctor. That's what I think. Yeah.
We're going to get back into this. So thank you to everyone who read and offered opinions, and in many cases who shared personal experiences around ectopic pregnancies. And with that, there is no need to respond to the text post. Just kidding. Except not kidding to anyone who claims an ectopic pregnancy can't rupture the same day a woman pees on a stick. We got some comments. Oh, and I think we got another update.
Surprise update.
Comment. So you just decided you were trying to baby trap or intentionally pass away or on him for reasons? Cool. Yeah, that's some good reasoning and decision making from an emergency room doctor. And OP responds, the mom told me when I kind of put her on the spot and point blank asked, has she not liked me since I was first introduced to her? And is this a boiling point? She told me she was sorry right now, even saying yes, but clearly I'm very confused and hurt, and I'm owed some clarity, and that, yeah, she definitely has expressed that she thinks I am not a good fit for her son in the past a handful of times. So she doesn't like me to begin with, which most people on here and I assumed after reading the tone of the midnight text. I couldn't tell you the reasons. I'm not a perfect person, and people can choose to not like others for so many different reasons. Although I 100% do not understand why someone would trust their kids being babysat by someone they mistrust and hate behind the scenes. Anyways, I think it comes down to that and feeling like this was an opportunity to say, see, she is not a good person. Yeah, she told the mom I could be passed away or that I was baby trapping them, which we kind of called. I wish I could have talked to the doctor to conclude this, but I doubt she would have given me straight or coherent answers to why she hates me other than it being her personal gut feeling and take. And we got another reply from another comment. I would also ask your husband when he saw those messages between the mother-in-law and best friend, what the mother-in-law responses / reactions were to those claims. That would be very telling for how she sees you and respects you as a person and her daughter-in-law. And OP responds, I saw them all. We were all together when she gave them to him. Her response to the longer message I copy and pasted into this update was, boyfriend has been talking with me every day to check in. It sounds like her pregnancy is ectopic and she's okay and not at risk of what you described, cutting out some irrelevant details and gave about the granddaughter, blah, blah, blah. I know you're upset and worried about boyfriend. He really does seem fine and excited that everything's healthy from her appointment. I'll be home in a few days and we'll figure this out together and everything will be okay. She was pretty clearly trying to be present with the family she rarely sees on her trip, and the short response tone of most of her other responses, plus her semi-annoyed tone recounting to me and my boyfriend how much the doctor reached out, maybe indicates she is feeling quite overwhelmed and in a bad position, as she explained being the bad guy relaying her friend's messages to us, but also the bad guy for not doing more to prevent that 12 a.m. message. So I guess the mom of the boyfriend is feeling bad, not protecting OP from the friend. And we got another reply. From the timeline events that you describe, it feels like the 12 a.m. text is the doctor friend trying to blame you for ruining boyfriend's mom's trip after she called her 4 times and sent many texts. If anyone ruined mom's trip, it's the doctor friend. Again, she is creating the very drama that she wants to avoid. OP, the irony is that her trip was not even ruined, confirmed by her. She had a great trip. I'm sure she didn't appreciate the dramatic texts and calls and being forced to consider the thought of me passed away on the floor with my mom, with my dog running around. But she told me she obviously knew that wasn't true since we were talking. Bam. Done.
My boyfriend keeps messaging cam girls. This is the 3rd time I've caught him.
Well, I'm about to message him that we're breaking up.
My boyfriend, 26 male, and I, 24 female, have been dating for over a year and a half now. And besides this one issue, we get along swimmingly. I love this man so much and know that he loves me, but he has hurt me for possibly the last time. By the way, this comes from user hurtbuthopeful12345. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So this is the 3rd time, 1, 2, 3, count them up, that he has done this. And I am sick with rage and don't know what to do.
We know what to do.
You become a cam girl.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
I am his first serious relationship ever. Before we got together, he was messaging cam girls since he was 17 and sending them money. Is this the male loneliness problem rearing its ugly head right now? He is a real sweetheart, my boyfriend, but not too social. I was the one who made the first move and asked him out. A month into our relationship, I was on Twitter and connecting my contacts. I added his email and an account with the handle @Steam4Mayhem. Not an actual account, but along those lines. Curious, I clicked on this account and was shocked beyond belief. I don't have the energy to go into what the findommes community is like, but do a quick Google search and you'll get the idea. People who don't know what that is, it's where it's like, I give you money and you're like, you're gross for giving me money. And then I give you more money. So they're essentially just paying money to be demeaned. And then they pay more money. So that is what his account was like, and also had pictures of himself in sub clothing. The account had not been used in 2 years, but I was still upset about it. I talked about it with him, and he was extremely remorseful and said he was too embarrassed to tell me. I forgave him and said that if he had questions or concerns to talk to me, and that I wouldn't judge him for his past. He deleted the account. Cut to 6 months later, I have his phone, and I'm using it to find a place to go to breakfast. An email pops up thanking him for a transfer of $100 to PayPal. We are not rich people, and he had recently been complaining about finances that day, but wanted to take me out because I wasn't feeling well. This made me feel worse, as I did something I never did with any of my other boyfriends. I snooped hard. I found out that he had been sending money to multiple women and asking them to do or say certain things for about a month. This took a week to do, and I waited to see if he would come clean and talk to me, and he didn't. I broke down and confronted him, and he denied it to me to my face. I didn't talk with him for 3 days before he came over and talked with me and said he had a problem, that it was hard to adjust, and that he didn't tell me because he didn't want to lose me or leave me, and I know that's a crappy reason, but I had fallen for him at this point, and I really had deep feelings for him, and I still do. He blocked her. I gave him an ultimatum, do this again, and I'm leaving.
Are we counting this as the second strike or the first strike?
I think this is strike number 2.
So the first strike was just that he had a past.
Because of my lost trust and paranoia, I did something that was really uncool, and I added my fingerprint to his phone so I could access it quicker. And if you're doing this, folks, it's time to leave.
It's time to leave. You can't get away with this.
Is this something you want to do forever? So I never did use the fingerprint, but a week ago, I told him about it, and he was visibly upset, but not too angry. Something about his reaction didn't sit right with me and made me extremely suspicious. We were dog sitting for a friend. I forgot to mention that we don't live together, and I have not trusted him since I found out about this last incident. I've been having conversations with him that I felt like he was hiding something from me and that he wasn't being open enough. So I asked him every day, and he said nothing was wrong. I looked through his phone while he was sleeping and found videos that he had paid for, and I was so sick I couldn't sleep. And you know what?
Stop doing it. Break up with him.
You're snooping and you're finding the stuff. You should be snooping, I guess. But if you already have to snoop, it's over. I couldn't believe that he did this again. He lied to me again. He found me on the couch and asked me if I was okay, and all I could do was stare at him. He knew instantly. He immediately confessed and admitted that he was wrong and made a huge mistake. I asked him to show me the messages and was appalled at what I saw. I almost exiled him from the house. The messages were so bad. I read them aloud, and he just hung his head in shame. Oof. Going through more messages, I found out he video chatted with one of them and talked about me very negatively, but also that he felt kind of guilty about what he was doing. Not sure if that was a part of the spicy hobby or not. Being like, I don't like my girlfriend, but I'm so guilty that I'm sending these, I'm buying these while I have a girlfriend. I don't know. But you know what? Regardless, girl, this guy's got some stuff to figure out, and he could do it without you. He apologized over and over, and I just and still can't grasp why he did it again. We are going to see my family for Thanksgiving, and then we're going to go to New York and then Disney World for Christmas. He calls me every day. We hang out together every day. He talked about moving in together for the past 6 months. Sigh. He's been doing this since August. We talked for over 2 hours, and we came to the conclusion that we want to work it out, but that he needs help. Not the move I would take. But it is true. Clearly, this guy does need help.
He does, but you don't need to be there while he's getting that help. You could be somewhere else.
He has given me all the passwords to his social media, emails, bank accounts. This was at his request, not mine. I messaged the women and told them I was not upset with them because they were just doing their job and fulfilling a fantasy. They apologized and gave me their condolences and understood. They blocked him and he blocked them and deleted their messages. He wants to go to a therapist tomorrow and talk about this because he says he really doesn't want to lose me because he was a little dumb butt. I just don't know, okay? I still love him, but he's hurt me multiple times. I know this subreddit is quick to say, give up, but I really think if we get help, things will be okay. But this hurts a lot.
Wrong. Listen to the people who are saying give up.
If this is a once-in-a-lifetime bond and it's this one thing that he clearly has, like, a fixation that he had gained, not even in adulthood, maybe. But the moment you feel like you need to snoop again, it's over.
The thing is, like, not only is he lying to you, but you're lying to him every time you snoop.
I don't want to go through this again, and I don't know if a therapist will help. And there's an update. Let's dive in. He is going to a therapist on Friday by himself. He saw the post and thinks everyone is right and feels like a piece of crap.
Maybe he likes that.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like he likes that. He's into that, you know?
Wants me to go with him after his first appointment, and I'm still unsure what I'll do. On the fence about it. He's taking a step, and I don't know that he can do better. I told him that I'm not here to help him, and if he wants to do better, he has to do so for himself. Willing to work on it as long as he does too. Thank you all again for the solid advice and messages, and there's some comments here. Comment number 1. Honestly, I get the vibe that he's turned on by you finding out and berating him for it. So that's why he continues. OP, I asked him if that was the case, and he said it was more the idea of me finding out than me actually finding out. That was the spicy related part. Break up with him. You can't work with that. He regrets how much pain this has put me in and is not turned on by seeing me break down over this. Which, by the way, newsflash, if that was the case, he would never say that because that's psychotic. I wonder, is this guy a cannibal? And this guy was like, look, I don't want to taste what you taste like at all. I'm uninterested in consuming you. A cannibal's not going to tell you they want to eat you. I have an impregnation fetish and love the idea of it, but don't want children. If it did happen, I would be devastated. Girl, what did you just say?
Do you just like the rush of it?
It's a 9-month rush. No excuses on his part, just his answer. I don't know if I believe him. Comment 2. How is he going to fix this? How is he showing he's going to get help? OP says, who knows? I stopped asking him questions. Girl, break up with him. I told him showing is better than telling. I'm not giving you ideas of what I want. Ask me what I want besides dinner. Be invested as you were with their videos and their pay pig as you should be with me as a person. If not, I'm gone. And there is an update.
Be gone. Go. Stop staying there.
Sometimes the simplest solution is to be gone. Just moving on with our lives. Update. I wasted another year of my life.
Wow. We're all shocked.
By trying to help a person that never helped themselves, and I'm paying for it in every way imaginable. I introduced him to the Stop Findommes subreddit. We went to therapy 3 times, only initiated when I caught him. I tried avoiding it. I tried confronting him. Nothing worked because he never stopped the cycle. I was going to study abroad in Asia in December, and I did not need this on my mind before I went. So very impromptu, on November 16th, I decided I could not be with him anymore. I was sick of feeling used and lied to about something that he didn't need to lie about. I didn't have solid proof. I just had it mentally because I felt he was hiding something from me. So this is strike number 3 right here.
You literally have so much proof. And you looked at it and you said, nah, we're going to try again.
Learn from these mistakes, folks. When someone's kink is lying to you and you being upset, you can't stay with that guy who's going to do that to you over and over and over again. I felt he was hiding something from me, and he wasn't trying to fix our relationship at all, even though he swears up and down that he did. Instead of handling it well, he shows me an engagement ring his mom gave to him as I was breaking up with him and begged me to stay again. We didn't speak at all while I was away, and I wish it had stayed that way. I came back early January, and our lease isn't up until February, so I decided we could live together until then. And it was great until Monday, or at least I thought so anyway. We were talking openly about our feelings, and he kept apologizing for everything that went wrong, and he still wanted to be my friend. Hard no. It wasn't until this last Monday that he got a new phone and switched over his SIM card to his new one. While he was at work, his old phone kept going off, so I looked at it. I fully acknowledged that since we aren't together, I had no right to go through his phone, but the crap I found makes me feel no guilt whatsoever. If anything, I'm proud I can see him for who he actually is. Girl, it took you too long. Can't be proud.
You can't be that proud. If you get the answer like 4 years later, you can't be that proud.
You literally started this story with, I wasted another year of my life. Can't be proud of that. I found out he went to see one of the doms he was cheating on me with in LA and never stopped talking to her even before we broke up. And he's $15,000 in debt from sending multiple doms money.
That's shocking. That's news.
He always told me one of the traits he doesn't like about me is how badly I handled money. Har, projecting much. After I saw this, I puked, packed a bag, and left. I texted him that I am leaving, and unless it was about the apartment, I never wanted to hear from him again. We've been avoiding each other since. I've been slowly moving my things out and putting it in storage, and I just feel emotionally defeated. I went through 3 months worth of messages and found a few interesting things, other than the spicy pics and videos, pretty subpar spicy texting as well. He acknowledges that he lied and that he had an immediate connection with her, to which she replies, that's called deceit, not cheating. He's glad that it was her, glad that he can finally make someone happy, glad he can please his goddess, glad to be free, upset that I never understood him. Wow, what a goof, LOL. Girl, you're being goofy right now.
You're a pair of goofs.
You entertained this girl.
And now you're looking at stuff you don't even need to look at.
If you're sitting there watching a comedian, you paid for that, man.
So he is so disillusioned and addicted to this lifestyle that he genuinely believes she cares about him and that he's in the right. He thinks she's actually his friend while she goes out to dinner with her boyfriend with his money and is using him for emotional support, something he complained about to her about me and how he loved emotionally effing with me. See, there it is. She's being paid thousands of dollars to stroke their ego, though. So I think I would understand that you have to keep the customer happy. She got $500 out of that LA visit, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. Just stop. Move on with your life. Your hobby can't be digging into your ex-boyfriend's weird findom habits. I feel like I should say that I respect spicy sleep workers and everything that they do a lot. But this specific dom is manipulative and has no boundaries. She's a half-baked amateur at best who really has no clue on how to even pretend to know what she's doing. She gives actual doms a bad name. This is the twist. OP is now going to become a dom and get her gross ex back by becoming the dom. She's going to put him into another $15,000 worth of debt after the breakup. Anyone who is a proper dom and actually cared about their sub's well-being would never do the crap that these two concocted, like sending me a picture of her butt and saying she only did it because he asked her to, asking him how he's going to spoil me today, and him telling her that she's going to take me to get my nails done as a surprise, him telling her how unappreciative I am of his gifts because they don't feel genuine, which they weren't. I never consented to any of this, and this crap has effed me up for life. But get this, she's an advocate for mental wellness. What a joke. She praised him for getting out of a toxic relationship and was glad he could be free from all of my nagging and that I wouldn't hold this over his head anymore. Again, either she's really good at customer satisfaction or a really crappy person, more than likely both, but he never told her that I was the one who actually ended the relationship. But yeah, he never changed. He talked a big game, but is so deep into the world of camgirling and himself that he's willing to risk everything for it. I should have listened to everyone's advice and left when I had the chance.
Yeah, you should have.
I shouldn't have moved in with him. Instead, I was emotionally mistreated by a self-absorbed person who felt that he did everything he could. A direct quote he said to the findom he never stopped talking to for the past 6 months. To those that are questioning and still have hope, for the hopeless, get out while you can. You can't change anyone that doesn't want to change themselves. You can't convince someone they're in the wrong once they see they're in the right. You may think that other people may not know them as well as you do. It's just something you tell yourself to avoid the actual truth that you're sacrificing yourself for someone who won't even do the same for you. Take care of yourself first because you're only damaging yourself in the long run. Sorry if this looks all over the place, by the way. As happy as I am that I made the decision to leave, I am super depressed and feel like I failed. I know this is all his fault, but I feel like I should have seen this coming. That, besides this one thing, he was amazing. But it was a lie. Reddit really helped me and the last time, and that's the only reason I'm posting here, because I haven't slept in the past 3 days and could really use some support and will probably regret posting this later. And there's another update.
Dude, just get out.
You haven't slept in 3 days over this guy?
Over this guy and him talking about these cam girls?
You should be sleeping like a little baby, wrapped in a nice warm blanket. But you know, sometimes time provides perspective. Sometimes we want to take steps backwards, but instead we got to take steps forwards. Update. Holy cannoli. I went to sleep and came back to 1,000 upvotes. Wow, thanks for the platinum and the silver. I truly appreciate it. The comments are overwhelming and I'm trying to upvote them all, but I am beyond grateful. And here's a couple of notes. For those that don't Google, findom is financial domination. I don't have a problem with this. We actually tried it together. I was uncomfortable with it mainly because I linked it with his cheating and lying. I expressed that I wanted to be monogamous and he stated that he wanted help and he felt sick and wanted to change. I said that if this is what he wants to do, that's fine, and I'm fine with that, but I just don't want to be deceived and used. Just communicate with me. But as I found out from the messages, he loved emotionally manipulating me and loved to see me hurt. He got off on my pain, which is a direct quote. Which, again, the person who does that is never going to tell you to your face that they do that. It's like asking the guy who robbed the bank, did you rob the bank? That's kind of what you did. He also had a home wrecking fetish, but I guess it loses the appeal if I consent to the home wrecking. And by the way, you can home wreck us all day, every day. All you have to do is go to any podcast platform, be it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, search OK Storytime. And there you can listen to full episodes with stories like this. And right now we're at 49 days worth of stories for you to listen to. And we're always adding more. Let's finish this story. And we have a mini rant. Don't do this to partners who have no interest in your spicy hobbies, or you have not had that conversation with them on what they are okay with in the relationship. Communicate. Give them the option to decide on what they're comfortable with, not what you think they're okay with. Don't hurt someone else if they express disinterest, and give you an open opportunity to leave. But you are so selfish that you'd rather lie to them and put up a facade of wanting help. And that is the end of that story. And I feel like OP has earned that because you did go through a lot. However, how much of it was self-imposed? You should have left. You had the out. And it's like, you can be mad at the people who are doing this to their partners to a much higher degree than the people who are staying. But also, why are you staying? Get out.
My parents keep sabotaging every relationship I had. They finally revealed why.
It's because they're the Beastie Boys.
It's sabotage!
February 13th, 2025. I was very shy during high school and didn't leave my house unless I had to. As a result, I didn't get a boyfriend until my freshman year of college. By the way, this comes from Fun Following 76, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, after 7 months of dating my first ever boyfriend, I brought him to my parents' house for dinner so they could meet him. I had to step away for roughly 10 minutes to help my older sister with her baby. When I came back, my boyfriend, then 20 male, and my dad, old, were having a full-blown fist fight. We managed to stop them and my boyfriend stormed off without saying anything. My dad insisted my boyfriend was incredibly rude and disrespectful to him and my mother. He said a guy like that was no good for me because he just ended up doing the same thing to me. I was shocked that my boyfriend could do such a thing. He has always been extremely sweet and I had never met or heard anyone not liking him. When I called him, I told him what my dad had said about what happened. All he did was laugh and says I could believe whatever I wanted before blocking me on everything. I was deeply disturbed by this, but my mom and sister insisted that he had just shown his true colors and said my dad saved me from an. I reluctantly accepted this, but something about it felt really off. I met my second boyfriend several months later during my sophomore year. Part of me still felt my parents were part of the problem with my last boyfriend, so I managed to get him to wait an entire year before introducing him to my parents. From the moment she laid eyes on him, every word my mom spoke to him was dripping with fake friendliness and subtle jabs, implying she did not approve of him. This made him visibly uncomfortable. While we were eating dinner, she began asking me why I decided to date my boyfriend. She asked about other guys and why they didn't work out. Some of the guys she asked about were completely made up. At this point, it was clear what they were trying to do, and I silently vowed to talk to my boyfriend and tell him how my parents were trying to sabotage me. Unfortunately, it didn't get that far. My dad chipped in and demanded to know how a boy who couldn't support himself financially was ever going to support his daughter. Mind you, we were both juniors in college at this point and both working part-time jobs. So this question was really insane. My boyfriend responded by saying he had already decided he wanted nothing to do with this family and was planning to break up with me when he got home. But now he was just going to leave immediately. Within minutes, he was gone. And I was blocked again. My parents insisted they did nothing wrong and were just testing his confidence, as my parents would. But I pointed out that this was the second boyfriend they chased away, and they never did anything to scare off my older sister's husband. I went low contact with them after that. However, fast forwarding a little bit, I eventually allowed them to gaslight me into introducing them to my third boyfriend, whom I've met towards the end of my senior year. And basically, the same thing happened.
Seems like a bad pattern to be
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. I made it through college unable to find a long-term boyfriend purely because of my parents. I met my current boyfriend, 28 male, 2 years ago, and I've managed to avoid introducing him to my family thus far. Whenever he brought it up, I always had a really made-up excuse prepared to explain why it wasn't possible. This has been pretty easy since he usually only asks about them when planning for major holidays. I have fallen madly in love with him and hope to start a family with him one day, but he recently told me he can't allow me to move in with him unless he had a chance to meet my family. Fair. I do not know what to do. I know my parents will make it their mission to break us up if they meet him, but based on his insistence, I realize I can't put off this any longer. Usually, relationships end because of something one person in the relationship says or does. It's incredibly unfair that I always end up single because of things I can't control. I want to tell my boyfriend about my parents and insist that meeting them is a bad idea, but I've listened in some of his conversations with his friends, and the general consensus among them seems to be that a girl with a super dysfunctional family is a massive red flag and an indicator of what their married life would look like.
If your potential partner is too reliant on the opinions of his friends to come up with his own ideas and decisions, that's a big red flag for me.
Yes.
And you can tell him. You can tell him about your parents. You can say, hey, I don't have an issue with you meeting my parents. In fact, I want you to meet my parents, but I also want you to be prepared. Because one thing my parents are going to do, they're going to prod you. They're going to test you. They're going to poke us. Honestly, I think they're going to try to break us up because that's just what they do.
Yeah. And be ready for that. Communicate it. So here I come asking, how do I approach the problem that is my parents without risking losing the longest relationship I've ever had? If my parents end up being the case of yet another breakup, I just don't know what I'll do. I don't know. Communicate with this guy. Come on. Edit. Wow, I made this post about an hour before going to bed. Woke up to quite a few comments. Thank you, everyone. I am not fully going no contact with my parents, primarily because they helped me a lot financially during college and when I first graduated and was looking for a job. When I went low contact with them, they constantly yelled at me for being ungrateful and said family does not turn on each other over minor disagreements involving boys. Sounds ridiculous when I type it here, but after months of this treatment, when I found myself faced with the decision to either tell them I forgave them, they paid for my dorm room, or refuse to forgive them and have to move back home, I ended up caving. Why didn't I stand up for my past boyfriends when I saw them verbally being mistreated? I don't know. I've never been allowed to talk back to my parents, so the thought of calling them out while we had company over was not something I realized I could do, I guess. My arguments with them after they ran off boyfriends 2 and 3 were the only 3 times I've ever come to full conflict with them in my entire life. I will be going to my boyfriend's house today after work and will tell him everything. I'm terrified he will still want to meet them. Just thinking about it has me shaking at my desk. But you all are right. He has a right to know and make his own decision. Edit 2. I told him and even showed him this post. To make a long story short, he still wants to meet them, but thanked me for telling him, as he always figured something was seriously wrong. My parents host dinners for our family every Sunday, and we will be attending this one. I suppose I'll make a new post with an update afterwards. Top comment 428 which you should stop bringing anyone like you around them, period. Tell your boyfriend why. They get weird and run anyone you date off with their nonsense, and you'd rather just avoid them altogether. My boyfriend knows all about my dysfunctional family and upbringing. It didn't run him off. If anything, it brought us closer, as he has emphasized.
Would you look at that?
Yeah. Edit to add, we just celebrated 6 years together. The right partner won't hold your family against you. You couldn't choose them after all.
Whoa.
That's really good. That's a good comment.
I hope that that's the exact situation here, is that you are open about it and then they go, okay, let's go. We can do that.
This is tough. I mean, if I was with Angie for a year and she was not wanting me to meet her family, I still, even if it's not the best situation, I'd still be like, let's just like meet them, get it over with. I don't know. I don't like the thought of being hidden or me being like, ooh, I can't tell my family. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that.
There's one thing of like hiding your partner because you don't want them to meet them because it's dysfunctional, but if they don't know about it, that's another thing.
if your family is off the walls and not great, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, she's definitely not going to meet my Atlanta family. Oh, heck no.
but but there's a difference between hiding your partner and not introducing your partner to crazy people. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just tell them. It's just gotta be in
You gotta tell them.
you just gotta be vulnerable and honest and
You gotta be-
open about it,
you gotta
which
be
is
proud of
who
a
you
tough
date.
relationship.
It is tough. We have another update 5 days after. I meant to make this update a lot sooner, but since my last post, a lot has happened. I truly appreciate all the comments I received calling me out for hiding my parents being insane from my boyfriend and encouraging me to be honest with him. My boyfriend is pretty involved now, so I guess I should give him a fake name. We'll call him Ethan. I sat Ethan down and told him about my parents and how they run off my previous boyfriends before showing him my original post, as many recommended. Fortunately, he did seem to care that I hadn't told him, but he agreed with many comments that my parents were more than just insane. They were outright. Although he understood how I felt, he still said he would like to meet them, both to see it for himself and because he felt there was an underlying reason for their behavior. My parents have dinner for the family every Sunday, which I have been attending on the weeks that I am not hanging out with Ethan that day. So we agreed that we would come to the next one. When Sunday came, we arrived at my parents' house. My anxiety was through the roof. Ethan had agreed to leave with me the moment things started to get out of hand, but with my parents, that could have easily been as soon as we walked through the front door. Surprisingly, my parents were very nice. My dad actually seemed excited to see Ethan, and my mom fawned over her daughter bringing home such a handsome, confident-looking man. I couldn't understand what was happening. Ethan even shot me a look a couple of times, as if to silently ask if he was missing something because my parents were actually lovely. I want to provide a play-by-play of the entire night, but the post would be just too long. The point is, my parents had done a complete 180 from their previous behavior, and it made me look and feel crazy for trying to warn Ethan about them ahead of time. During dinner, my mom said she was happy to see her daughter had finally found someone who wasn't judgmental and was willing to give me a chance because of the person I am today, since the past doesn't matter. My heart dropped. Ethan says he does not know about anything in my past that may be cause for concern, and my parents exchanged a concerned look, as if it was rehearsed. My dad asked him why he thinks my previous relationships failed, and he said he was under the impression they got scared away after meeting my parents. My mom looked at me with disappointment on her face and said, "OP, is that really what you told him?" I was at a loss for words. But Ethan was not. He said it's pretty clear they were trying to plant seeds of doubt in him about our relationship, but he wasn't interested, as he knows me well enough to know my character. He also pointed out that even if there was something seriously wrong in my past, parents who loved and supported me, or even just wanted grandchildren, would keep it a secret to avoid ruining my relationship. My dad said he already has 2 grandchildren and motioned towards my sister, who did not have her kids with her that evening. Ethan said my dad must have been very supportive of my sister for her to be able to start a family while he tried to run off any guy I brought home. My dad's response was very casual, but extremely shocking. He said, "Of course, she's actually mine." Everyone was quiet for a few moments until Ethan spoke up and said that now all the abuse they've put me through is starting to make sense. My mom said he was spouting nonsense and that I had not been mistreated in any way. She then looked at me and admitted her marriage had a rocky start, but both she and my father had moved past that.
Bro, she's an affair, baby? Secretly, maybe? With no utter confirmation?
Is that what just happened?
Yes, that's what he just said. Well, yeah, because she's mine. And then mom's like, wait, he's just talking crazy. And you know what? We did have a rocky start, but me and your dad, we worked everything out. It's like, did you have an affair and I am not biologically related to my dad?
I was too busy replaying my entire life in my head to say anything. The previous boyfriends, the lack of support for my social outings growing up, the volleyball games I had to have a friend drive me to because my parents were always too busy, the rage I was always at risk of facing if I ever spoke my mind, all while my sister got the opposite.
Dude, this is a Harry Potter and Dudley type scenario. This is crazy.
I started to cry the hardest I have ever. Ethan immediately announced that we were leaving. My dad demanded we stay here where we could clear things up. Ethan ignored them as he pulled me out of my chair and led me away. My mom screamed at me not to leave, saying that this guy was trying to isolate me from my family. I yelled back that if anyone had been trying to isolate me, it was her for my whole life. As we drove back to Ethan's place, my mom sent me several text messages cussing me out, saying one mistake doesn't change the fact that my dad loved and supported me and raised me, and that he would always be my real father. Ethan said he's not your dad. He's an controlling a-hole who was taking his insecurities out on you. I ended up blocking both of my parents' numbers because they were saying some truly awful things to me, both about myself and Ethan. Ethan said he was expecting them to be crazy. This was far worse than he had anticipated. He told me I need to go to therapy immediately and that he would pay for anything my insurance doesn't cover. My parents showed up at my apartment twice yesterday to demand I come out and speak to them, but I've been staying at Ethan's all weekend and will likely be here all week. By the way, if you want to be with us all week, all you got to do is go to your favorite podcast platform, that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, search up OK Storytime, and boom, we have enough content to be with you not only for a week, not only for a month, but for 50 days straight.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Great boyfriend. W. Ethan.
Yes, huge W for Ethan.
I know this is very recent, but I do wonder if there's anything else because it seems like
I don't
these
know.
people will spiral. Showing up at her apartment, yelling at her.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably immediately seek some kind of restraining order or make something official with the police if they're going to continue to harass you like that. Because I don't know, it's like the way that you describe being like othered your whole like upbringing is pretty wild.
Yeah,
I don't know what would make them behave this way. I'm sure the mom has her own guilt over like the affair, and then the dad clearly has unresolved issues about it. And it's like in my head, it's like he's gonna run off every man that OP's with because he wishes that he could have done the same thing when his wife was cheating on him.
Wow.
And then maybe out of some weird like feelings of like guilt or responsibility, the wife also plays into that so that she can make up for the mistake that she made in the past. I don't know. Whatever it is so just a cauldron of stanky, effed up nonsense.
Yeah.
Just get away from it.
Let's get out of here. I'm not sure if this is an update y'all wanted. At countless people enraged at me for being spineless and not standing up to my parents, and while I plan on doing so, that's not what happened. I don't know what is going to happen with my parents or where I will go from here, but now that the holiday is over, I could spend some time looking for a good therapist. And then one commenter says, so your mom cheated on your dad and you are the affair baby and they treated you poorly because of that? Is that the story, or has my reading comprehension failed me? Maybe you have a great father out there somewhere. 23andMe. Ethan sounds great. The truth shall set you free. So a commenter asked, after reading this whole story, I just have the following questions. 1. Did you take an ancestry test to find your real father? 2. If you find your real father, will you build a relationship with them and tell your mother how her and her husband treated you? 3. Did your sister know about all of this? 4. Did you expose this revelation to the rest of the family, or did a majority of them already know? 5. Did you block your mother and her husband's numbers? 6. Why didn't your sister ever defend you? 7. Did you seek legal advice to see if you can sue those monsters for emotional distress, neglect, slander, defamation? 8. If your family knew that you were an affair child, will you go no contact with them? And OP says, hi, I've been unplugged from this account for a while, but here is the best way I can answer those questions. 1. I didn't have to, actually. My mom eventually admitted who it was, and it was a former coworker. Told me his name and where he lives even. She claims he has known about me from the beginning and just wanted nothing to do with me. I don't know if I can believe this is real or not.
Definitely do not believe her.
Yeah, no.
Go find out for yourself.
2, I have no idea. I've known where he is for about 2 weeks now and haven't gotten to meet him yet. I'm not sure what I would even say to him or his family. Ethan has offered to take me, but I told him I'm not ready yet. 3, yes. 4, the closest immediate family knew, for the most part. My very existence was a family scandal in quotes because it's a joke Ethan made at one point. 5, this might be controversial, but my parents are unblocked. It was initially because my mom told me she would tell who my real father was if I did. I considered blocking them again after the fact, but doing that would make me feel bad. They've been giving me my space though. It's Not too bad. 6, my sister is probably the biggest update I have. We actually started to get really close this past month, more than we had ever been growing up. Some of the stories she told me about her parents would make a more insane Reddit post than mine even. I think my parents are just horrible people, honestly. 7, I don't know the first thing about how any of that would work, and the thought of suing my parents scares me. 8, I don't hold it against them. So no, I'm not bothered by the fact that I'm a fair child. I still consider my dad to be my dad. I just think he's an a-hole. What really gets me is the years of abuse I've been dealing with. I've been in therapy the past few weeks and have already started to see the various ways they've been psychologically abusing me my whole life without me realizing it. I was always taught wanting things made me inherently selfish, even if it did not harm anyone else. And that was the root of so many of my insecurities growing up. That's a bit of rambling tangent, but that doesn't have anything to do with your question. Sorry. And that is the end of
I don't know what the suing process would be like, but this is so absurd and like such a crazy secret, and they've treated you so poorly like your entire life. I don't know, like if there's anything you can do to make them like legally at fault in this context. I don't know. I don't know though.
Look into it.
It's definitely a scary thing to think.
My girlfriend is pregnant. The only problem is we're both women.
Gonna look a miracle in the face and say no? What's wrong with you?
I'm still in shock, so bear with me. My life feels like a soap opera right now. Apologies, this will probably be long. Here is some background. My girlfriend Anna and I have been together for 4 years with intentions of getting engaged sometime this year. To clarify, we are 2 women in a relationship. I am sapphic and Anna is bi, and has been in some serious relationships with men in the past. This has never been an issue for us because we love each other and have a healthy and stable relationship. But now, as you can imagine, I'm second guessing everything. By the way, this comes from I'm So Confused Reddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, what went down? In the last month, Anna had been complaining about putting on weight, particularly in her stomach area. Anna is thin and athletic, so the little belly she developed is noticeable. She's been going to the gym more and started eating much healthier than she usually does. We didn't notice any improvements with her weight loss, but I told her that it takes time and that she will eventually lose the weight. Pregnancy never ever crossed my mind for obvious reasons. Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah. Last week, she really started freaking out about her weight gain, so she scheduled a doctor's appointment. She had the appointment yesterday afternoon and afterwards called me at work and told me that we needed to talk. I could tell she had been crying. I'm freaking out at this point now, thinking that she's terminally ill or something. I start tearing up, asking her to tell me what's wrong, but she insists on meeting at home. I leave work immediately and get home to see her sitting on the couch, her face puffy from crying. I'm shaking and tears are streaming down my face. I ask her about the doctor's appointment and what's going on. She can barely get the words out through her sobs. She tells me that she went to the doctor and that they told her that she's 13 weeks pregnant.
That's a lot of pregnant.
Oof. I stop crying, but my brain is trying to comprehend what she just told me. All I could say was, what? Over and over. She's still sobbing, saying she's so confused and she has no idea how this happened. I have never really seen her in a state like that. She seems genuinely upset and confused. But then again, so am I. As I started registering what was going on, I asked, did you sleep with someone? And she only starts crying more, swearing on her life that she didn't sleep with anyone. So I'm like, but you did. You're pregnant. There's no way that you didn't cheat on me. To which she replies, I have no effing clue how this happened, but I swear to God I didn't sleep with anyone. You have to believe me. We go back and forth for 30 minutes or so, both of us still confused. I told her that I needed to think, so I called a friend and spent last night at his house. I've been talking with friends and everyone is confused but agreeing that Anna must have cheated on me. I keep playing over our conversations in my head, though, like if she knew that she had slept with a guy and that she could be pregnant, why would she go to the doctor? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like if she really knew that she had cheated and that this is what was happening, she could have taken care of it.
Yeah.
Without anyone knowing.
Exactly.
So why would she do it like this?
Why wouldn't she have just gotten a pregnancy termination secretly? She could have used a plan B pill just in case. Like, she could have gotten away with this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being foolish, but it genuinely seemed like she had no idea why she was gaining the weight in her stomach. A couple nights we talked at length about possibilities why she was gaining weight just in that region, and pregnancy never crossed our minds. I'm also playing back the potential date that she could have cheated on me, considering she is 13 weeks along. We live together and have similar work schedules. We both work 9-to-5 jobs. And if I'm thinking of the right week that this could have happened, there's nothing that stands out of the ordinary to me. There weren't any late nights or suspicious activity that would have concerned me. I feel like I'm driving myself crazy and I feel like I can't trust her. She's been texting me asking if we can talk, and I told her that I need more time. I want to believe that she's telling me the truth, but I can't think of any reason how she could be pregnant without having slept with some guy. But it's all so confusing given the situation. So Reddit, what are your thoughts? Does my girlfriend have a case of sapphic immaculate conception? Or am I being a fool for doubting that she cheated on me? How do I handle this situation and how do I talk to her? Everything feels very confusing right now. Thanks in advance for reading. Deleted says, I think you know the right answer here. You don't just magically get pregnant. Yeah, she could have hidden it and secretly gotten a pregnancy termination, but she in all likelihood didn't think anything of it until it was too late. Maybe they used a wiener app and it broke, or he pulled out or something and she was convinced it couldn't be a pregnancy or just didn't want to believe it. Denial is extremely powerful. Some people will deny till the day they pass away, but she's in a relationship with you, a woman, and she's pregnant. This isn't one you can deny. Logic says she may as well come clean, but good luck with that. 99.9% chance she cheated.
But did she have an OBGYN appointment 13 weeks ago? Is this Jane the Virgin?
I think it's Jane the Virgin. The other explanation is substance. Oh, yeah. The other explanations, she was attacked. But that's a big leap into this. Let's find a way to rationalize the crap out of this. Good luck with this. My money is on she was unfaithful, as it's the obvious effing answer. And the OP responds, maybe the answer that she cheated is obvious here, but it's also difficult to explain to a bunch of strangers just how upset she was when she told me. I can't expect internet strangers to know the intimacies of our relationship, but I would not be posting here if I didn't think there was a slight chance that she was actually telling me the truth. There's an update though.
Yeah.
So a lot has happened since the original post. Thank you to everyone that responded with helpful comments. It seems like most people came to 3 possible conclusions with Anna's pregnancy. She cheated on me and got pregnant. She was a victim and doesn't remember anything. The doctor is wrong. Those, yeah, I would say those are the 3 most likely answers. After spending the night at my friend's house and ignoring Anna's calls and texts, I decided to see her the next day to talk. We made a plan to meet at her house after work. I wasn't sure what to expect from our conversation. I thought I might get a confession of her cheating on me or something along those lines. So we met at home. She asked me how I was doing, and I told her that I was still pretty confused and upset. She understood. Then I said, I have to know. Did you sleep with someone or cheat on me or come near baby juice in any way, shape, or form since we've been together? She swore up and down that she did not, very sincerely. She said, I know that this is effing crazy and literally unbelievable, but I swear to God I didn't cheat on you. I am just as confused as you. I still wasn't entirely convinced, so I asked her about the doctor's visit specifically. She did not get an ultrasound. They only took a urine sample. I guess she told them her symptoms. They took a urine sample, concluded she was pregnant, and sent her on her way. I asked why they gave her a specific gestation period, and she didn't know. I'm not entirely sure why they did either. Of course, I was like, did you tell the doctor that it's impossible that you're pregnant? That you've been with a woman for the last 4 years? And the doctor gave her grief for it. Essentially implied that she must have slept with a man, which is what I just said, because she's pregnant. And that's why she was experiencing her symptoms. I'm not sure if this is a common occurrence for a doctor, but she said he seemed completely unfazed by her claims of not having slept with a man. For those of you that mentioned her period, Anna has an irregular period. Sometimes she gets it and sometimes she doesn't. So there was no cause for alarm when she didn't get her period for 3 months because A, she can't get pregnant, and B, more spicy sleep for us. Also, if you're not getting your period and you're not like using an IUD or, you know, some sort of birth control, get that checked out. Get that checked out. If you don't get your period for 3 months, there could be, you know, you can have like PCOS. There are many different things that can be a cause for not getting your period for 3 months. So it might be totally fine, but get that checked out.
What if a period?
Then you're dying. I guess the doctor saw the signs of a positive pregnancy test and a lack of period, and pregnancy was the most reasonable option.
You might have confirmation bias. It could have been like the same situation could have happened like a week ago or something. Yeah. You know, or like who knows? But it is ridiculous that they didn't order like one more test.
Yeah.
You know,
after just like an ultrasound. After hearing about that, I said that she should schedule another doctor's appointment with a different doctor. Yes. As soon as possible. She told me that she had the appointment the next day, yesterday. We decided it was best that I go with her to the appointment. Yes. The first order of business with the new doctor was the ultrasound. I sat with Anna as they put the gel on her stomach, and I was honestly sweating bullets. I kept thinking to myself, what if she is actually pregnant? I thought I was going to pass out, but Anna seemed calm. They confirmed that Anna is not pregnant, but she had a mass on her ovary that was a cause for concern.
So when are you Dr. Sophia Wynn?
It was one of the most emotionally confusing moments of my life. Anna and I looked at each other, not sure if we should celebrate the not pregnancy or cry or what. Anna still has more appointments, but the new doctor gave her the diagnosis of stage 1 ovarian cancer. This explains the positive pregnancy test and the bloated stomach. This also explains why she wasn't able to lose the weight in her stomach. The doctor also mentioned that the irregular periods should have been a sign of concern for Anna. Am I a doctor?
Dr. Donner does have a good ring to it.
As women with irregular periods can be more at risk for ovarian cancer. By the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. I'm devastated and hopeful. Anna is still in shock. Yeah, I mean, she went through a lot.
Yeah.
You're like, everyone thought she cheated on you, and she was like, am I pregnant?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's that's a lot of whiplash going from like the villain to like now you have cancer.
Yeah. I am supporting her the best I can, and we are figuring out a game plan. Naturally, we are both terrified of what's to come. This will be a huge part of her life and my life, and probably put our plans to get engaged, married, have kids on hold. If she can even have kids after all of this. Anna even joked about the fact that she wishes she had actually been pregnant with the Messiah. That way we could keep the kid and not have this horrible diagnosis. So I guess this is a happy, sad update. Thanks to everyone for reading. And there are some relevant comments. Remember, Coombe Valley says, I'm so sorry to hear. The first doctor who was so dismissive of her insistence that she hadn't slept with a man should probably be scolded for this. Opie says, when she explained his reaction to me, I was livid. Call me an angry man hating sapphic, but the second doctor was a woman, and she was honestly one of the most helpful and supportive doctors I have ever encountered.
My boyfriend proposed to me, but my friend said I stole her spotlight.
I hope this wasn't at a wedding.
Oh, God. My 24 female boyfriend, 28 male, have been together for a year and 2 days. We had been seeing each other for a month before the drift season at his home track started up. He had asked me to... Wait, he's a drifter.
He's a drifter.
Not in like he's a drifter, old time, like he drifts race cars. That's cool.
That's when the cars go... And they're doing like the craziest things, and the tires do smoke.
Ding, 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 ding. He had asked me to come to the first event on April 2nd, 2022, as a photographer in the media team, while he drifted in one of the 3 groups. I got approved, and that's how I went to my first drift event. By the way, this comes from user thatbycsr, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, the moment was perfect. He got me a ride along, and after some hesitation, I strapped in. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. After my ride along, I took off my helmet and ran into his arms with adrenaline in my veins. I fell in love with drifting, and he fell in love with me. We have a wonderful relationship. It's like living in a fairy tale. He's this kind, caring, attentive partner whose love for me superseded his pessimism for the world. Our communication, chemistry, comprehension, all of it is top notch. We've never had an argument, which is honestly maybe a red flag. We've never gone to bed mad at each other. We're doing all the things we need to do to have a good future. It's great. So here's the meat of the story. I have two best friends, Sally and Gina. Sally's birthday is April 1st, and this year, the first drift event of the season fell on the same date. So we all coordinated a plan. Me and my boyfriend would go to the track, we'd leave before the event ends, get the mud off of us, and go to Gina's house for Sally's birthday party. Already, nothing is going right. What's supposed to be a drizzle is full downpour, and what was supposed to be a 5 to 8 minute media meeting lasted 16 seconds.
Hi, bye. Thanks for coming out.
Ladies,
Probably because of the rain.
Ladies, is 16 seconds not enough time?
Is that too short?
So I turned around and there he was, my boyfriend on one knee with a chick-shaped ring pop. I felt two distinct emotions, joyous surprise and an instant, oh crap, it's my BFF's birthday. My stomach churned in confusion. I couldn't hear anything he was saying. All I know is that I got my yes out, we kissed, hugged, and I kept my breakfast down. I called Gina shortly after and tell her that he proposed. I know she tried her best to sound happy for me, but she said that we would have to chat when we got to her house and that we shouldn't mention it to Sally. I told her that I wasn't planning to announce an engagement on her birthday and that we'd have a better conversation in person. I talked briefly to my boyfriend and we agreed to keep it under wraps until our anniversary the next day. Fast forward to Sally's birthday party. We've successfully avoided bringing it up, not to ruin the party. But of course, my boyfriend stuck his foot in his mouth when he said, "Feel weird sharing anything about the track without announcing our engagement." Sally was sitting in between us. My heart dropped to my butt, and after we both stared at each other, she disappeared into a room with Gina. I'm not friends with this woman anymore. Your friend is immature and thinks that her birthday belongs to her alone?
That's her day. Dakota, remember, it was my birthday, the other week? And
you had 3 birthdays that
I have
week.
more.
He gets a whole month, but it's because he's cute and we love him. But
nothing else happens on those days.
This is
nothing else happens. No one else has a birthday. No one else. It's my month.
If it's your friend's wedding and you you do a proposal at their wedding, you're literally a war criminal and you should be thrown in jail.
If one of my friends literally I got engaged and it's during a birthday party, I'm like, dude, that's sick. Let's party.
Yeah, not to mention that it wasn't even at her party. It was now, everyone's just going to remember my birthday as your engagement announcement. And it's no, it didn't even happen there. So who do you think you are? I'm not friends with this person anymore.
I would be legit party. Everyone would be celebrating all of us. That's sick.
Yes, of course.
That
It'd be
sounds like a
holy
good time.
crap. You got engaged on my birthday? That's amazing.
Now you get to think of me every time you guys have your anniversary or what have you.
She shortly came out and pulled me in the room, and the first thing out of her mouth was, "I heard what he said." My understanding, Gina and Sally were upset that he went through the first half of his proposal plan when they had all been in on this elaborate engagement plan. Sally expressed that at first she was okay with sharing the date as he had asked her, but after so much change, she told him she wasn't comfortable with it because she felt like he was putting her birthday as a sideline event to celebrate the engagement instead. I explained that I knew how he was and figured that he did the first half because the track and the date are incredibly important to us, that had I known he was planning this, I would have stopped him to avoid the tension. The night ended. My boyfriend drove Sally and another of our friends home, and we headed home. The entire ride was spent in conversation. He expressed that we had talked about engagement so much, and April was such an important month in our relationship that he didn't want to disappoint me by not proposing on the first, and that he thought Sally meant she wasn't comfortable with making the dinner portion about our engagement, and he had no intentions of letting it slip. To his credit, he's a terrible liar. And to y'all's credit, this is all way too much. Too many words, too many thoughts. You got engaged. Congratulations. Anyone who's your friend who doesn't tell you that is not your friend. Why are we even talking about this? So now I'm in this uncomfortable position. I spent our anniversary the next day, April 2nd, trying to iron this situation out. I apologized to Sally. I discussed it with my boyfriend for the 50th time, and his mom chimed in. He agreed to apologize to make things right because he felt bad that she's upset and I'm upset because she's upset. And his mom said that while she understood he picked such a rough date, it sucked that Sally couldn't have put her anger aside for just a moment to be happy for me. I decided that we'd consider the ring pop engagement a gag until he proposed with the actual ring, and we'd make that date our official engagement date. Third was spent in hours-long conversations trying to understand why Sally was this upset about it. And to my understanding, she was afraid I'd have to pick between my engagement and her birthday going forward. She felt like he put a damper on the day. She felt like he had ignored her requests, etc. What, she got a big sack of rocks in her head? Sorry, it's our engagement anniversary, which, by the way, who celebrates that?
No one.
It's
no one
the
does.
wedding anniversary.
Maybe like before you get married. Like I know people are like, oh, we got engaged on this day, and like do like a little like champagne toast.
It's a memory
or
that
do like
you
a little
hold.
dinner. But like, girl, they're not completely taking away your birthday.
Right.
They're at your birthday right now.
Your friend,
they could have literally gone out and just said, screw you. We're going out because we're partying. They're like, no, we're here. And the guy, God forbid, the guy is just super stoked that he proposed, even though it was like a gag.
Right.
He legit, like, he's like, I want to marry you. That's cute. You go, aw, let's toast to that. But then, like, celebrate back to me.
Your friend sounds selfish and stupid. And I comforted her by telling her that I'd never have to choose because I'd always pick her birthday and celebrate my engagement on our yearly anniversary the next day, and that this back and forth had to be resolved between her and my boyfriend. The phone call ended with Sally explaining that she was still angry, but she'd talk it out with him. I reached my breaking point when the reality hit. Not only had I not been able to announce my engagement and still haven't, no one stopped to realize that I was the only person in this equation who hadn't known anything, and I was the one stuck trying to fix it all. I broke down when I realized that the only happy response I got was from my boyfriend's parents. I'm not mad at anyone specifically, and I don't fully believe one person is right or wrong, but I'm at a loss. I'm scared of things going wrong when he does the formal proposal, and I want this to happen when Sally's at a place where she can be happy for me. But I'm incredibly frustrated that this is all happening over a date, and I'm just not sure what to do or what steps to take. What would you do in my situation? Edit. I forgot to include Gina was the first person I called when I broke down, as she had also been trying to get Sally to see the situation, and Gina is insisting that she'll take care of it on her end because she loves me and can't believe this whole Sally thing blinded everyone, including her, to how I felt. Gina stated that Sally was just in an off mood the entire time, even before we arrived, that some stuff happened between a mutual friend that soured the occasion, and that the whole day had gone to crap for everyone. So tensions not related to us boiled over, and I got stuck with the heat, and that she insisted on me not spending 2 entire days on this for my happiness and sake. She apologized to me. Boyfriend apologized to Sally. Boyfriend apologized to me for putting me in this weird situation, said that one way or another we'd make my boyfriend's second proposal the best day of my life, and that's where we are now. And there's an update. Let's just get into it.
Yeah.
Turns out, Sally was running around behind the scenes in people's private DMs, people that weren't at the party, but in the surprise proposal chat. These people didn't know her, but trusted her since she's my best friend. She was trying to skew public opinion of my partner and staged this entire ruining to make him react and show his true colors. Yeah, your friend's not your friend, dude. Your friend is not your friend. None of us realized this until I made a group with everyone except her involved, and everyone provided their full account and relevant screenshots. We all found serious inconsistencies and really questionable statements from Sally as each person took their turn, and it became clear to us Sally thought my partner's calm nature was some pretend show and he was fooling everyone, and I am apparently too in love to see the red flags because OP has changed. Everyone else has been trying to explain that I've changed for the better, but she wasn't hearing it. And by the way, you can hear full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. All you got to do is search OK Storytime. You can listen to over 2,000 episodes. We've got a little bit more story left here. Guys, I don't know if anyone needs to be told this. If your friends aren't excited when you get married to your fiance that you love and is not a piece of crap, they're not your friends.
And it's not on like a big day of theirs.
Right. And you've done nothing extremely wrong, which is like we've said, funeral, wedding. Those are honestly the only two I can think of off the dome.
Proposal, like someone just proposed.
Someone else's planned proposal. I don't know.
And it wasn't at their birthday, it's one thing. But it wasn't at their birthday. It was literally at the track.
Yeah. If anyone actually hijacked the birthday, it was Sally, which makes perfect sense because it was Sally's plan to make it an issue. So she was the one who reacted that way when she just heard just a comment.
It was a very subtle thing.
Then she made a big deal out of it. So she blew up her own party trying to make him upset, which honestly, if I'm him, I'm more upset at OP that it's like, why are you saying that this is our fault? We got married. Your friend should be happy for us. Yeah. Why are you saying I need to apologize to Sally for just being engaged to you?
For loving you.
Like what?
Yeah.
I on principle will never apologize for marrying you. Anyway, let's finish this story. Sally's anger about this is this big because instead of having a terrible reaction to his engagement being ruined, he took it with grace and extended an apology to her. She refuses to talk to him, but demanded he offer a different apology, as this one wasn't good enough. She had a blowout with Gina where she tried again to insist that my partner ruined every single aspect of her birthday and began attacking her personally as retribution. Gina hung up and cut her off right there before informing me. I'm not giving her the opportunity to explain herself. I have more than enough proof of her behavior to justify going no contact permanently. We all had one big apology circle with each other for the miscommunications, and we're all planning on going out next weekend and making April 1st a celebration of our friendship with a small nod to the engagement. And that is the end of that story.
My fiance uninvited her friend from our wedding because she tried to sabotage us.
Whoa, who's her friend? The Beastie Boys?
It's sabotage. My 27 male relationship with my fiance 29 female has kinda blown up. I never felt this unsure in our relationship. I'm in need of outside perspectives. For context, we're college sweethearts. Aww. For orientation, I was touring campus and she was my group's tour guide. Oh, that's how we met. She's my first love and best friend. Aww. Now we're in the height of wedding planning. By the way, this comes from user ThrowRA Longshot Frey. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, about a couple years ago, we had a rough patch with her shutting down and pushing me away. She wanted to take a break so she can find herself again. I don't believe in breaks. I wanted to work through it together, but her mind was made. So I agreed.
Oh boy.
We established boundaries for the break. We wouldn't see other people, and we were to have checkups about where we were emotionally. The goal was to reinforce our foundation. The break was only a month. We bounced back stronger, but it's still a sore spot. The break was the most distant we'd ever been, and the experience highlighted why I'm against it. Recently, my fiance had a bad falling out with a mutual friend / Maid of Honor, 29 female, who I'll call Joss for clarity. Some nasty stuff was said, and Joss accused my fiance of being a bridezilla and even a worse friend. I hoped the rift between them would mend because they were so close for a long time. They were like sisters. But my fiance punted Joss out of the wedding, and I'd invited her. The damage seemed to be done for both. The other day, Joss reached out to me and said that my fiance wasn't being completely truthful. Ooh. She revealed not only did my fiance see other guys during the break, but also hooked up with someone on their annual girls trip. She gave the guy's name, but I don't know who he is. On the trip, my fiance's group linked up with another they clicked with. Joss said it was clear the guy had an eye for my fiance, and eventually she and he began wandering off. My fiance ignored Joss's attempts to talking her down. It was a lot to take in. My initial instinct was to shut Joss down. Up until this point, I trusted my fiance fully, but I couldn't overlook how much Joss's account matched my doubts from back then. Like I said, we were the most distant during our break. It wasn't on my part. There were times she was AWOL on our checkups. During the girls' trip that fell on our break, she went radio silent in a way she wasn't on previous trips. There was truth to linking up with another group because my fiance told me about it. She's still casually in touch with some of them. Right after the trip, she was gung-ho on calling the break off. how it was a mistake and that she was in a better headspace. We see this so many times, that literal sentence. I'm just not in the right headspace. We need a break. I need to find myself.
Listen to that person.
That literally, like, if there's a reason to have the break, why are we having a break? What's trying to figure? And the fact that you tried to figure it out, OP, and tried to solve it with her, and she's like, no. I need this for me. And we've heard this so many times. I'm not saying 100% of the time it's going to be that, but it's like, that's such a bloop. That's a flag. The flag on the play. Joss claimed that this was part of their falling out. She was pushing my fiance to come clean with me before the wedding. She felt I deserved to know and wish she would have said something sooner. I didn't say much. I was too numb to really feel anything. I initially didn't confront my fiance. I was trying to process, but she could tell something was wrong and kept asking. When I did confront her, she was a whirlwind of emotions. She mostly ranted about Joss, but I told her this was her chance to tell her own story. She asked if I'd hear her out. I promised I would. She confessed to seeing other guys during the break, but claims nothing happened.
Lie.
She also denies ever hooking up with anyone on the trip.
Lie.
We don't know. I asked her why Joss would tell the truth about seeing other guys, which alone thoroughly broke our boundaries, but make up an elaborate lie about her cheating on the trip? She insists Joss is trying to sabotage our relationship. She said the other guys meant nothing, and I'm the one she was in love with. But you saw other guys.
At this point, all OP can do is be like, all right, this is what I'm okay with. We had set this boundary, and you crossed it. Now am I going to hold you accountable for it and like stay true to my own principles and beliefs or not? That's where we're at.
Yeah. It was like she wanted me to be grateful for choosing me. She promised to do anything to regain my trust. She said we're starting our lives together and I shouldn't let Joss come between us. I wasn't very receptive to her. We fought and I told her I needed to think. Now you need a break.
Yeah, I wonder how receptive she'll be to that.
Yeah. Ever since, she's been pouring on so much affection. She still swears she never hooked up with anyone on the girls' trip and that Joss is trying to sabotage. But I can't shake the possibility that Joss is telling the truth. All of this has blown up while we're in the middle of wedding planning. Invites are already delivered, venue booked, catering being arranged, suits, dresses, everything. I feel so numb. I'm in love with my fiance. She's my best friend. It feels wrong to doubt her, but I'm questioning everything, even myself. I don't know what to believe anymore. I feel like I'm an idiot. How do I move forward for myself and for my relationship? And we have an update. Dakota.
She crossed the boundary. She lied to you. Who's to say that she's not lying about not hooking up?
Yeah, the fact that you literally like, hey, she could have literally lied to him like Joss is wrong. She lied about everything. But the fact that she's like, okay, I'm going to come somewhat clean here. I did see other guys, but I didn't do anything. She still crossed that line. And the fact that it wouldn't have been brought up until Joss said something.
Right. And now you have to question, all right, so is she really telling the truth or is she doing the thing where it's like, well, see, because I've told you something that I was keeping hidden. Now it's like, why would I be lying? I already admitted it. But see?
Again, I chose you. I didn't choose those guys, but I did want a break. Remember when we wanted to, like, I wanted to go on a break and you said you wanted to work things out, but I didn't want to work things with you? After that month, I chose you.
What am I, Pikachu?
Nice. We have an update. Thank you to everyone who reached out. It helped me, 27 male, much needed perspective. I wanted to give an update. I wanted a fuller picture before making a decision on anything with my fiance, 29 female. I knew her friends/bridesmaids would be a lost cause. I get along with them, but they're more of my fiance's friends, and their group runs deep. They weren't going to talk at the expense of my fiance. I asked Joss, 29 female, for more info and for evidence to her claims about my fiance hooking up with someone on their girls' trip. She said my fiance avoided talking about that particular trip, especially over text. Most of their arguments were in person, but she showed me texts from shortly after the trip where my fiance confirmed hooking up with the guy. She texted how it's in her rear view mirror, and she doesn't need a lecture about the past. She's focusing on the future. I knew the possibility, and my fiance already confessed to seeing other guys during our break, but I don't know. Seeing those texts made it real in a way it wasn't before. In the text, she expressed regret, but it didn't make me feel better. I confronted my fiance, and I knew immediately by the look on her face. She came clean on everything. She thought Joss deleted the text. Around the break, we were having serious talks about marriage. She started worrying she was missing out on stuff her single friends were engaging in. During the break, she sought validation from other guys and fooled around with the guy on the girls' trip. In her own words, she had a temporary high when he chased her, but felt worse about herself post-hookup.
Oh my God, babe, wake up. You just discovered morality. Congrats. You feel bad because you did a bad thing.
And this happens so many times. So many times. She claims the break showed her what was important. You. And that she wasn't missing out on anything. Again, you. She was reassured we were right for each other because she had to hook up with a guy first. And she's like, oh, wait. This guy, I have no connection with this guy.
No. You see, what I did wasn't bad because I felt bad about doing it.
I hardly said anything to her. I mostly just listened. I was too numb for much else. She kept asking me to say something, but what was there for me to say? I felt her actions spoke enough for us both. She kept apologizing for stepping out. When I asked her why she wasn't upfront with me, she said she didn't want to lose me over her biggest mistake.
Why didn't you tell me? Well, the consequences of my actions would have showed up.
I would have lost you. Yeah.
So again, it's like, you know, the whole time you did something wrong and you're deceiving your partner and you're hiding this from him because you know it was wrong and bad.
Her position that Joss wasn't being noble hasn't changed. I told her Joss's motives don't matter. The truth is the truth. She asked if I could find it in myself to move past this. No. She said she loves me and she's fully committed. I couldn't tell her what she wanted. I said it was best the wedding be put off and I needed space to sort my feelings. You're going on a break, brother. She was against postponing and proclaimed this didn't have to define us. And she's still the same woman I wanted to marry. She asked me not to give up on us. You already did that.
You did that.
You did that.
Oh my God, girl, you did that.
But the same way her mind was made about the break, my mind was made on postponing. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't so much a fight, more putting everything out there. She cried a lot. She rarely cries. It felt wrong to leave her crying. My first instinct was to comfort her, but I was too broken to fake it. I've been hurt before, but she hurt me in a way only she could. I know postponing the wedding is for the best. The reason why I didn't call it off entirely is because I'm way too much in my emotions right now. Hurt, anger, sadness, and somehow numbness. At all possible, I try to avoid making decisions lost in emotion. I need to clear my head. I was so sure of my course and relationship. My fiancée was my partner in every sense. She was who I wanted to make a life with. Sometimes she'd act so superior about our relationship compared to those of her friends. I feel so stupid. She says she's still the same person I love, but that's gone. But the fact is, she had a secret life I knew nothing about. I'm trying my best to understand that, but I'm at a complete loss. I'm not sure if I can move past this, but I'm pretty sure you can tune into episodes with stories just like this.
Wow.
Just tune into Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app, and you search what, Dakota?
Okay, story time.
And there you'll find the whole ocean.
Tell him to bring it out.
OP, your fiancé is conniving. That's the word I got. The fact that she wanted the break and she didn't respect your boundary of like, hey, or your boundaries first off for the break, but also didn't respect that you wanted to work things out because she wanted to go on the break. That's one. Technically two. Three, she got caught, but she didn't tell you the full truth. She didn't tell you the full truth.
Right.
You're like, hey, tell me the full truth. She's like, I hung out with guys, but I didn't do anything. And then that's already 3 strikes. You're already out. 4, you got caught again with actual with receipts. I'm sorry, OP. She lied to you 4 times. The wedding.
I need to take a break to discover myself.
Yeah.
Huh? I thought we were getting married. No, I need to discover myself. Do you want to be someone who's not going to get married to me? Because we can do that.
This sucks because you're losing all the respect for yourself. All the trust is broken now. It's very hard to go past this, but the fact that you tried to give her that chance, I'm sorry. For me, I'm done. And for Thought Sharks, I'm out. Let's finish the story and see what OP wants to do. All the guests have been informed of the postponement. Some question why, but I've been vague. I'm just too embarrassed. I feel bad for the guests too. Some with limited means already booked flights and hotels and took time off work for our wedding. That's how far we were in the home stretch. Joss.
Yummy.
So, oh my God. Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Jay. Thank you, Joss.
But like Joss is also part of it. She should have said this so long ago. Or someone should have come clean long ago. So Joss did do the right thing, but she also is a part of it. In some ways, it doesn't feel like my life. We were just together, wedding planning and discussing the honeymoon. The honeymoon was a surprise destination for her. Someplace she's always wanted to visit. Now we're here. I don't know where to go or what the future holds. Thanks to everyone again for the support. It means a lot.
My fiance cheated during her bachelorette party. I'm planning to leave.
Get on out of there.
Don't know how to explain all of this. Basically, I was snooping around last night when I saw her phone light up. What do you mean you were snooping around? It was a message from her friends about the party. I stayed up like one of those stalkers you see on TV, and I've been checking the computer Facebook messages with her friends and found out she cheated during her bachelorette party.
Oh, no.
By the way, this comes from Throwaway Husband 332, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, by cheating, I don't mean getting a striptease or something, which I would be okay with. I understand it's a bachelorette party, but she actually gave a spicy dancer a sloppy toppy and ended up going home with another guy that night. She has this other guy added on Facebook, but the chat merely consists of a "had a good time and it was nice to meet you" convo, which dates back to the bachelorette party. I have, however, read the messages between her and her friends. They have a small group, and I found out what she'd done there. It all seems as if it was a one-time thing that happened then, but I'm an effing mess. I haven't slept all night, and she's headed for work in an hour or so. When she wakes up, it's almost 6 a.m. here. I don't know what the F to do. We are supposedly getting married in 3 weeks. I don't think you are, buddy.
Okay, so they're not married.
They're not. No, this is his fiance.
Fiance. Thank God that this is your fiance.
Yeah, you can backtrack. You got time. You got 3 weeks. I'm thinking of simply packing all my bags after she goes to work and just leaving the flat. It's her family's flat anyway. We were planning on buying an effing house, having kids, growing old. I feel like I want to throw all of that out the window. I am sitting here smelling like booze, feeling wasted and depressed. I don't know why, but I'm more of an angry depressed than sad depressed. I haven't cried since I found out about all this. Should I confront her? Should I just get out? Should I hear her side of the story? Honestly, I just want to go and stomp her effing face right now, but I don't want to do something irrational. And there is an update, but what does OP do?
I mean, if you hear her side of the story, there might be a good reason.
Yeah, she's like, no.
Gave him sloppy toppy. He got bit by a snake.
It was his last wish. I had to help him. It wasn't my fault.
But what about the other guy? What was his deal?
He was also I was at a hospital. It was kind of a make-a-wish situation. That's really sad. Sorry.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Dark.
Yeah, that was a dark turn. Update. I basically left in the morning to take a smoke. My head was still messed up, but reading all the comments on Reddit helped me. I can't remember who, but there was one guy who said the positive thing about all of this is that I found out before I got married, with no children or attachments. I still don't think she cheated other than this night. Nothing I found indicated anything else. I guess she wanted this to be her last night before settling down or something. I literally do not understand that logic at all, because you've been in a committed relationship up until that point. Nothing has changed. You're getting a piece of paper that says you're legally tied together financially.
I don't know.
It makes no sense. I honestly don't know, and I don't care. When I was outside taking a smoke about 15 to 20 minutes or something after I left Reddit, she had woken up. She noticed the drinks out and asked me what I had been up to. Basically came to give me a kiss and a hug. I followed through with it, but honestly felt empty doing it. I didn't want to give her any hint of what I knew. She asked me why I had been drinking and why I didn't come to sleep last night. I told her I was just having some nightmares, but everything was fine. I felt detached, like I was watching myself in third person through a TV or something. She asked me if any stress was related to the marriage and the plans. I just told her something along the lines of, you know I love you. There's no stress I have for the marriage. Yeah, he's not stressed anymore because there's not going to be a marriage.
He already knows what he's going to do.
How can you be stressed about the best thing in your life? She got herself done and left for work. I basically started packing my most important things, my desktop, computer, most clothes, and some other things. I planned on leaving things like furniture, TV, and other things I really don't care about more than getting the F out. I just took the stuff most important to me so that I don't have to return here again. I don't care if she gets the rest. All in all, my stuff added up to about 3 or 4 suitcases. I would say desktop not included in this. I called and canceled the venue we were supposed to have the wedding at. So he's doing your route of just canceling everything and booking it.
Yep.
But not booking the venue. He's canceling the venue. Apparently, they take 15% of the money for canceling so early on because we were having such a big event. I told them it's fine and I really don't care at this point. I also saved screenshots of everything and had taken them with me.
Good.
Rough. Around 1 p.m., I called a taxi and went to stay at a hotel around 100 kilometers from my city. I didn't leave any note or pictures at home. I just left. I'm planning on leaving to stay with a really, really close friend who lives in a town about 300 kilometers away, but I just needed the alone time in the hotel for some time to think everything through and process what's happened. Around 3:30 p.m., my phone started getting spammed with calls from my ex-fiance. Around 3:50, I started getting calls and messages from her sister, her friends, her parents, my parents, and a few of our mutual friends. The only people I called back were my mom and dad. I have huge trust in my parents. I basically spilled the beans and told them a nicer story about what happened. I asked my dad not to say anything and also asked my mom not to either. I told them it's ended and that I won't be getting married anymore. I also told them not to tell anyone about what I told them. I trust them a lot, so I'm sure they won't say anything.
See,
at least you got your support system.
you have a support system. I understand why he's taking this route of no
Talking to her.
closure,
Mhm.
because she would get closure from this or something. He's already got his closure.
Yeah, he already knows.
He knows what's going on.
Fair.
It won't help him in the slightest, because if he does confront her,
She could try and like justify it and like lie and stuff.
or he could get mad.
True.
I just think it's best if you have that kind of like hatred or like
That's true. He did say earlier, he was like, I have this like aggression and I don't, if you know that you have that aggression, don't, do what keeps everyone safe.
I think that's good. Maybe one day he may come to the conclusion.
Yeah, when he's less like emotionally in it.
Yeah, that he can
Yeah.
talk to her, understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Right now, flee the scene.
That's fair. I didn't tell them exactly what happened, just that I found out she wasn't being loyal to me. I didn't think giving details would help in any way. Around 5 p.m., my dad called me back and told me my ex-fiance was completely hysterical and had basically broken down, completely not understanding what was going on. I just told my dad not to intervene and that I need some alone time now. I basically just shut my phone down and have been staying silent ever since, like a ghost. Been sleeping for a little, went to the pool here at the hotel, and I've just been taking it easy. I don't know if I should respond to them now or wait some more. Her sister knew about what happened at the bachelorette party. I have the text to prove it. She even laughed about it and told her not to feel guilty because it's her bachelorette and that women should go all in on this night. I am seriously considering replying to the sister with just an image of the conversation where she's talking about it. Once again, thank you to everyone who replied. I'll update this post 1 or 2 more times and then perhaps go silent for a while. I know you're only allowed to do 1 update, blah, blah, blah. Edit 1. Since I still get messages asking what happened, yes, I did send proof to her sister, the part where the sister is talking about it. I have since not received any call or messages from the sister. My phone is still blowing up with calls and messages from the ex-fiance. Haven't read them though. Thinking of answering or something, but I don't know what to say or do. Might make another post later today so I can update you with what happened. And comment 1.
I like this.
There are
He's
some
getting
comments.
Alone time, chill time.
Yeah, he's at the hotel relaxing. It seems like probably the fiance knows now why he's left.
Maybe he didn't tell her or
Well, he
send
told the
her-
sister.
Told the sister, but the sister shut up right after that.
But she might have. I feel like there is a chance that she was like, I can't say anything but to him anymore because I don't have the moral high ground. But
Yeah.
I'm going to go tell his ex-fiance this news so
That
she knows why.
I don't know why, but I doubt that
Mhm.
she told him. For some reason, I don't think that.
Yeah. I think hope he's doing what's right for him right now. It's taken a minute because I don't remember exactly how many years it said they were together, but they're about to get married.
No.
So
Yeah,
definitely
they didn't say
serious
that.
relationship.
I
yeah.
think he's 31 and she's 30 from the original title. Yeah.
Comment 1. This is the point at which you need to keep your resolution with you. These kind of cheaters can get so manipulative. You could easily say, that's some CGI crap from Hollywood until seeing it with your own eyes. Prepare for waterworks, her dad intervening and seemingly taking sides with you. Her mom calling and claiming it was a one-time mistake. Threats of self-harm, some crap you had said X months ago that ended up with you two fighting, the whole bit. Someone will even use your stubbornness and try to paint you as the bad guy who won't budge. Just wait and see, and don't forget to remember this comment on the way as you encounter them one by one. And there is an update.
That comment called everything.
Yeah, the comment was like, I know exactly what's coming. And stop by and let me know if it happens.
He's like the old man beside a tree near a path. He's
Nostradamus telling.
I've been here before.
Yeah. Update 2. Yesterday, I was having my phone spammed by my family members from her side and friends. The only person I responded to was the sister, with part of the conversation where she and the sister talk about it all. I didn't include anything in the response except an image of the conversation, and the sister went pretty silent after that until later. During the day, I contacted the co-owner of my business and let him know the full story. He told me to take as much time as I needed and even advised me to head off on a vacation.
Nice.
This guy is a childhood friend of mine. I don't trust anyone as much as him. That makes more sense. My plans have changed a bit. I am still staying at this hotel for another few days, but then perhaps moving on to the friend I was supposed to go to. I called him up and let him know I want to head off somewhere. Perhaps a trip to somewhere nice, another country or something. It's all still not yet 100% decided, but I know I will be leaving for somewhere. He said he would be up for joining me if it could be during the upcoming weeks since he's still on holiday from his work. We will see how that turns out. Later in the day, I responded to my wife. The calls kept coming in less frequently since I sent that message to her sister. I had this gut feeling she was going to come with an excuse of some sort. I picked up the phone, and the first thing I hear is a torn up voice, if you can say that in English. I could hear she had been crying all day and was in a messed up state. She kept begging me to come back, saying there's an explanation to everything and that she loves me. She said I had misunderstood the entire situation. She's like, you don't understand. I had to.
They were on the list.
They're on the list.
They were the next two guys. I had 2 for 1.
It's like a kidney transplant. They were the next on the list.
You should have been proud of me.
I was a donor. I could hear the sister and someone else in the background. Don't know who the other person was. Maybe her friend. Anyway, I told her to explain it to me right then and there. She said because I'd only seen a small part of the conversation. It's all been misunderstood. That I should come back home. That she loves me. And that I've taken an irrational decision to leave without a real reason. We literally know she's lying because the sister immediately stopped talking to him when she got that text.
Yeah, because when you catch someone in a lie and they keep calling, like, I didn't do that, I didn't do it. You catch them?
Yeah, they immediately shut up. If she actually hadn't done it, she'd been like, no, like, this is what that meant.
Just like crickets.
Yeah.
They chirp,
Get
chirp.
real quiet when you sneak up on them.
Mm-hmm.
During the entire conversation, I was just given really short, empty answers in a cold way like, yeah, okay, what? Explain it to me. After she told me it's all a misunderstanding, I told her to call me back in 10 minutes and to check Messenger. After I hung up, I sent her the entire conversation log with a ton of screenshots, not all of them, but most of the important ones. It didn't take 2 minutes for her to call back, crying hysterically, saying sorry for everything, saying she wants to pass away rather than lose me. She said she was forced by her friends and sister to have fun one last time. They forced me to have fun. I didn't want to. What does that mean?
Go out and,
I
don't know, play Scrabble or
literally
something.
Go to a board game bar.
Yeah, trivia night. Bowling.
Karaoke.
Ooh, kayaking.
Kayaking at night.
Yeah.
That she needed to let all the energy out before stepping into a marriage for life. I was just quiet during most of it. The more I didn't talk and just said, okay, the more she was crying. She started telling me I can have other women if I want to get back at her, or that she'll tell everyone about what she did so I can take her back, that she'll do anything it takes for me to come back, and that this was the mistake of her life and that she hates her sister and friends for this. I told her effing other women was not something I needed because the moment I met her and started loving her, she was the only woman I needed. I didn't need to meet or sleep with someone to know the best thing in my life was waiting at home. The sister was telling her stuff in the background, but I couldn't hear. I don't know what the sister was telling her or if she was getting angry at her or something. She kept begging me, and I just told her, if she comes clean to her parents and family, I'll think about it. No,
We've
he
seen
won't.
this one before, guys.
No, he won't. He's like talking to the freaking mouse. He's like, oh, if you just step into the trap, you'll get the cheese.
There is no cheese.
There's no cheese, man. After that, she started saying something, but I just hung up. For like half an hour, my phone went silent without much response. And then her father called me up and apologized for everything. He and his wife know what happened now, and he's sorry for all of this. He told me he understands how I feel, that he didn't raise his daughter to do this. I mean, both of his daughters think this way. So like, who did, you know?
Yeah.
Literally both of them are on the same page about like cheating before you get married. So is it the mom saying this, or did they just figure this out on their own? He said he understands if I don't want to see her again, but that I'll always be welcome to him and that I'm a good guy. His wife basically then takes or steals the phone from him and tells me she made a mistake and she regrets it and it will never happen again and that we can move forward from this. She tells me her daughter has never been this destroyed before. I politely tell her I appreciate her opinion, and then I say I have to go and say goodbye.
Dude, that comment was right again.
Yeah.
The
Well,
mom
I'm
saying
super
it's just a one-time mistake.
I'm suspicious of that mom. I'm like, what was her bachelorette party like? I feel like if she's excusing this behavior, because the dad's not excusing it. He's like, hey, like, I understand if you need to go. And the mom's like, no. It's like, it's a mistake. It was a mistake. And the sister's like, oh, no, you can do that. You can cheat on your partner the day before. And OP's ex-fiance is like, if they're all thinking that way,
you know why they're thinking that way?
apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Pineapple doesn't fall
They're
far
swingers.
From the tree. Yes. That's what I was about to say.
Yes. My ex-fiance calls me back and begs me again, saying she told her parents and also sent a text message to her friends, our mutual friends, about what had happened. She then keeps crying, asking me when will I come back to speak with her, and says we can even go to counseling and that she'll pay for everything.
Let's go.
Why don't you pay for all the wedding costs? She kept apologizing on the phone, and I didn't say much. After some time, I just told her not to cry, that she shouldn't be apologizing because single women, like herself, are allowed to do these things. And I hope she finds Mr. Right. Ooh. He's like, she starts crying even harder, and her sister takes the phone and says sorry and tells me everything can be fixed. And that I said I would take her back now that she told everyone what she did. I told the sister I only said I'd think about it. And now that I have, I realized I dodged a bullet and wish her and her sister the best. She then tells me her sister is turning to self-harm from all of this. The commenter was right. And that this is going to lead into a depression that can take her life. That seems like you guys got to figure that out. Maybe take her to, I don't know, clinic. If you know about it, you can protect your sister.
Start volunteering. I hear that helps a lot of people.
Yeah. The only thing I said after she told me that was, it's a good thing you're close to her so you can make sure she doesn't hurt herself. Maybe take her to a doctor or something. Yep. After this, I just hung up. My phone has been blowing up with messages from mutual friends, her and her sister saying sorry and basically begging me to come back. I don't plan on responding. I honestly feel a lot better right now, like I can move on. I will be going for a vacation this upcoming week, I think. If something more happens, I will update the posts. I don't know when I'll feel okay to start dating or meeting women again. Give it a minute.
Yeah.
Let's give it a minute.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, of course not.
Because he about got married, and for some people, it's like, wife, check. That's like a check mark.
Yeah, and now he's like,
it's unchecked now.
Yeah. It's totally his whole kind of life path has been thrown off. But like, you just give it a minute.
It's okay.
No rush. But we will see. Thanks. And you guys can see more full episode stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I like the step-by-step, how he's approaching this.
Yeah.
We need to make, like, you know those charts where it's like, do you want to invite this person to your birthday party? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And then that's sort of the thing I feel here. Like, do you feel angry? Yes. Then leave, and then, step by step of everything. I can't say anything he's done wrong here.
No, I mean, like, he had the conversation, which is all I wanted.
Okay. Yeah. It's perfect execution.
Had the conversation, didn't listen to her lies, was just like, yeah, okay, hang up. which I think is, now he knows for a fact that she's a freaking liar.
Freaking liar.
And a bad one.
And then also in an alternate world where you do forgive her and everything, that trust. That trust is so long and broken.
The thing is that we've seen stories where people have cheated and they come back from it, but that requires so much work. I don't think people realize how much work it requires.
Yeah, no.
Like, I want to say this is not an actual statistic, but like I feel like 90% of the people that, cheat, like they maybe try and they just can't get over that trust breach. You just can't.
You can't.
Unless you're, genuinely apologetic, which she's not, because she's blaming it on other people. Fully take responsibility and then work so hard. And that's on both sides. Both people have to work hard to get back to that place where they can trust each other.
What if the wife wants to go out again?
Yeah.
He's probably not going to be too fond of that idea.
Like, this is not, you can't get back from this.
And then she's going to get, resentment towards the husband because he won't let her out. And it'll just be,
it's like, there's no point. It's like he knows he can't trust her again, so there's no point in getting back together. She wouldn't like it. Edit 1. I would also like to add my best friend, co-owner of my company, hired someone to take care of the company for us and also booked a month-long vacation for the both of us. Sick. That's a good friend. I'm lucky to have such a good person in my life, and I hope you all are able to find a friend like this. I would do the same for him. He's been a friend since we were kids, and if I lost all of the people I know, he would be there for me, so big thanks to him. Edit 2, my friend went over to get the ring from her, but she refused to give it to him and told me she would not give it to anyone, that I have to pick it by myself. I don't know why she's still acting like this. I'm thinking of just letting the ring go and being able to have a clear mind. And that is the end of that story.
Oh.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah, honestly, get rid of that ring.
Can't really resell it for that much, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, diamond rings, they don't.
That sucks.
I know. Because, the whole, diamond farm.
Mm-hmm.
There's, a big diamond farm, and they release so much each year.
That's true.
Which is smart on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Props to them. But it just sucks for diamond buyers. But anyways, selling entrepreneurship aside, good luck, man.
Yeah, that's tough. You're going to get through this.
You will.
I found out I was reverse catfished by my boyfriend. He was hotter than you expected.
Wait, did you put your thing down, flip it, and reverse it?
Reverse.
When my boyfriend, I'll call him Christian, and I met, I was in an abusive relationship. We were both students at the same university. He knew this, and I confided in him about it. No one else knew. I got out of that, went to counseling, court, and everything. He knew this and stuck with me and swore up and down he was on my side and that he doesn't judge me for it. By the way, this comes from Catfished OMG. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So I tell Christian I am not ready to date yet as I am still recovering. And he says he understands, but he still sticks around. We get closer. We sleep together. I am comforted by his company, but I still don't want anything serious. He knows this, but continued to stick around. Even if we were not serious, we're just sleeping together / keeping each other company, he'd still get really jealous of my talking to others. Cared about him, but did not want a relationship. And there were a few flags. Christian read my diary, went through my email, read through my post on the DV support site, and basically kept tabs on me because he was convinced that I would go back to my ex, but I never did. It was never my intention. That's a little overstepping.
Those are strange vibes from Christian.
Christian made me feel like I was damaged in a way, but he said he did it out of concern.
Why are you
But
doing
he
this?
said he did it out of concern. Also, I placed a restraining order on my ex and never contacted him. So Christian had no reason to think this besides his statistically women go back to a logic. Despite this, we eventually ended up dating seriously. I admired Christian and loved him for sticking through with me, so that also influenced my decision. The lease on his apartment ends and he doesn't have a place to stay for the summer, so I let him stay at my place. He wants us to share an apartment together. I agree with the condition that we put all the past behind us, and he agrees to start anew. Since I know he has jealousy / trust issues, since the start of our relationship, I keep everything open, my phone, my email, etc., and talk in front of him. I don't know. I like having an open phone policy with my partner, but it feels like it's coming from the wrong place. Christian and I started living together and got along really well. I am a licensed in beauty aesthetics field, so I made really good money while going to school at the same time. Christian, despite being from an upper-class family, didn't want to take student loans or work outside his field, so he lived off occasional tutoring and a small school stipend. We split absolutely everything, even dates. dates. I lend him money various times when he doesn't have any food for bills, rent /
What is that?
food, like split dates, like split money for dates. I loved him, so that did not matter compared to the good qualities he had. We stop going out completely. I bring up that I miss spending quality time with him, even if we just eat sandwiches in the park, and he just says he doesn't have money and can't go out. I it up and don't bring it up. He does not have friends and will get upset when I went out with my female friend. He is controlling. Oh my God.
Massively controlling.
This caused further isolation for me since I stopped going out with them to help build trust in the relationship. Christian wants to go for a PhD in a niche field. Wonderful. He is smart and enjoys it. I support him fully. This means he has to move to another state. We were graduating at the same time and we had been serious for a while, so I think no biggie. During Christmas, his family flies me to meet them. He warns me to not tell them a few things about our relationship, like the fact that we had pets or that I own a car and he drives it.
What?
He's not lying and controlling.
Why are you being so weird, dude? Why are you so weird?
His family is wonderful to me, but he never wants to even discuss what will happen with us. I try to talk about it since my plans also depended on that, but he never wants to. I let him know that I am supportive of him and don't pressure him to talk. Fast forward 6 months and graduation time comes around. Christian still does not want to talk about our future / us. I graduate and end up with a job offer, and Christian ended up being unable to graduate until the following semester because he had to rewrite his thesis / he loses his tutoring job / loses his stipend, but at least he was accepted to the new school.
He just lost so much.
That's a lot.
I bet you it's because he plagiarized his thesis.
Yeah.
Or he used,
I think he's a liar.
AI,
I think he's lying to his family.
He's lying about how
to the
smart he is.
school.
He's lying about how many assets he has. He's lying.
And he's lying to you.
And he's controlling and he's controlling and he's controlling. Get away from him.
Get away from him ASAP. I am devastated for him, but since he refuses to address what will happen with us, I start applying to those jobs in various cities. I get a phone interview in my hometown, and I'm thinking about taking it. Meanwhile, our lease is about to end. I decide I cannot leave Christian for the job, at least for a couple of months, because I feel bad for his horrible situation. He had no money, no job, had to rewrite his thesis, and depended on my car because he does not own one. I felt horrible leaving him during this vulnerable moment. I console Christian. I stay up with him until 5 a.m. for weeks while he rewrote his thesis, made him coffee, food, read his draft, gave him shoulder rubs, helped him find another job he could do from home. I cover the bills / rent while his money situation gets better. Oh my God.
Dude, when are you, his mom?
I even made him a silly diploma on Word for being the best boyfriend ever. What is he doing?
Best boyfriend ever just exists.
I had our cat's
that's
paws on it as a seal, just being silly so he would cheer up since he couldn't graduate yet. I tried to be very helpful / sweet. And then Christian starts acting strange. I go to hug him while he was on his laptop and he was looking at pictures of a girl named Caroline on his Facebook. As I come closer, he frantically switches the tab. He used my car for an errand and then he'd stay in the car texting on his phone, not coming inside. He started taking his phone to the bathroom, which is normal. I take my phone to the bathroom. I catch him going through my phone, but I have nothing to hide, so I let him. You know where this is going. Basically, Christian has been reverse catfishing me through the relationship. Wait, what? I found out Caroline ended up being a girl from a dating site. He stayed up writing his thesis, but in reality, he was talking to her and others. I find out he tries to portrait himself online as someone very different from real life. He also goes into full details of my abuse relationship with friends and girls from the dating site without being prompted and tells people things I only told him in confidence.
Oh my God.
On these messages, he's very judgmental of me and basically makes really mean comments about things that I'm like severely ill and that I contributed to my own abuse. He makes himself to be a victim of the I was a victim of. He portrays himself as a savior and me as an unstable woman. This was a lot of people, including a family member of his ex-girlfriend. He has never said these awful things to me. I would have never guessed he thought this of me because he had no reason to think this and he acted completely different to me because he's a liar.
He's a sociopath. That's crazy. Yeah, put this guy in the black hole, the little one, the little black hole that turns you into spaghetti.
He would tell me he never used Facebook, but then I found out that he had tons of pictures on Facebook, roughly 200 to 300 that he blocked me and his family from seeing through privacy settings. He also blocked me and his immediate family from seeing status updates and wall posts. He's actually really active on social media and tries to pass as an intellectual, but he even hid innocuous stuff. When his thesis was finally approved, he posted an announcement, but he blocked me and his family from seeing doing that. The girls from dating sites could/would see and comment on these things though. I also have pets and foster raised kittens. I'm very involved in volunteering, and he would take pictures I had taken of my pets and post them as his own, or post like he was fostering them by himself on Facebook and dating sites. He's like, oh, I'm so sympathetic. Look at me take care of this puppy.
This is like you make a police report and you report him to any website that has like a database of like creepy weirdo liars on dating sites. I don't know if there is one.
Kitty Got Ya Tongue says, please say she left.
God.
She's not leaving yet. She's staying. Tyler says, get the F out, girl. Run.
God.
He made posts like I never existed, or like he had done stuff alone, and blocked me from seeing this on his private settings. He would never post pictures of us together, and I attributed this to shyness, though he had hundreds of pictures with his ex. I didn't think anything bad of it. I just thought he was shy. I know. Even during my graduation and graduation dinner, when my family was there, he could not stop talking to girls from dating sites or talking badly about me to others, which blindsided me because we were very seldom having arguments. And to my face, he would say how wonderful I was, how was his little family and best friend, while simultaneously trying to create this compassionate pseudo-intellectual image online that is very false.
Freaking what an
monster.
Absolute freak. Monster.
So I took the job in my hometown and left our apartment. Our lease was ending anyway, and he would be leaving to his new school after me. At that point, I knew some of the stuff he had been hiding, but later found out the dating profile and more evidence of lying/cheating.
What?
I calmly talked to him before I left and gave him a chance to come clean, but did not tell him all I knew. He never confessed and maintained the stance that I was amazing and wonderful, his best friend and love of his life. And at that point, I am confused. As I was leaving, he was bawling his eyes out, begging me to keep talking to him every day. And as I got in my car to finally leave, he asked me if I would go to the new state with him because he loves me so much.
This is absurd. I don't think I'd be able to stomach it when he's like crying, like, I'm gonna miss you. Talk to me every day. I'd be like, I actually know the truth. That's all I would say. People, if you ever want a liar that you know is lying to just crumble into dust in front of you, you just don't tell them what you know. You just go, I know everything. Go, what do you mean you know everything? Be like, don't even do that. I know the truth. And then just watch them crumble into dust.
Well, let's see what this person has to say. I don't answer because I do not know this person anymore. I wrote him a letter and sent it through snail mail, calmly, politely explaining what I knew with dates and pictures. This catfishing seems to be from when he met me all the way to the day I left our house. I tell him I have no ill feelings towards him.
Crazy.
And wished him a nice life.
Wow.
But that I could never trust him again. Yeah. How could you trust someone that is cheating on you this aggressively?
No ill feelings is
you should have
wild.
some ill feelings.
You should be
These
a little
ill feelings will make sure you never get into this situation again.
I feel ill right now.
The reason I sent a letter is because knowing how much I love him and care, I would probably forgive him, but he would probably never admit or apologize to me, and he'd keep using me anyway. But you should always use us by joining our podcast, OK Storytime, by tapping that wherever you get your podcast, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app. Just search OK Storytime.
Please help me. I need real arms.
Honestly, I'm not sure who the heck I even dated. He seems attracted to girls in vulnerable situations. Yikes. And maybe is intimidated that I was independent. All the girls he has dated have been in a situation where he is sort of a caretaker. How do you call a person that is attracted to vulnerable people? Is there a name for this? What do you guys think? I have not contacted him since, but I feel very hurt, used, betrayed, and basically rejudged and invalidated over my past abusive relationships. He acted completely different to who he was. Any advice/comments are welcome. Girls, stay far away. Stay far away. And when people start controlling your life, believe that they don't have your best interests at heart, and they're going to get crazy at some point.
My boyfriend wrecked my car and thought I wouldn't find out.
He's just like, maybe I'll just use a little tape here, a little glue there. It's fine.
And he's like, those scratches were on it before. Throw away because this crap is embarrassing AF. I have been with my 32 female boyfriend, 35 male, for a little over 3 years. Every once in a while, I'll let him drive my car when he's low on gas or if he has a good parking spot and doesn't want to move, etc. By the way, this comes from Illustrated Pixie, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, a couple of weeks ago, I get a call from my insurance company letting me know they needed a statement about the accident. What? After a solid 45 minutes of adamantly proclaiming this lady was full of crap and that there was no accident, the insurance rep said, well, we have a report that boyfriend's name was in an accident in blah blah parking lot on this date, claiming he was driving his girlfriend's car. I call my boyfriend and he denies up and down that there was an accident. I explain the call I received and he replies with, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Apparently, he's been dodging calls for over a month and never told me any of this was going on. There was no damage to my car, so I have no reason to think anything had happened. Yesterday, I was trying to work out the details with the insurance company and get him to make a statement, but it was impossible. He stopped responding to my texts about the situation, so I called him. He cleared the call. I called again. He cleared it again. Then he texts me, I'm with my parents. Okay, but this is a serious situation and I need to speak with you about it. Can you please answer? I don't want to fight with you in front of my parents. This isn't a fight. I need details about the accident from you. He still won't take my call. So I send him kind of a crappy text, something along the lines of, you can't even show me the respect to take my call about something serious? This isn't even a real relationship to you. Silence. Finally, after 2 hours of radio silence and me being very, very upset, I call again. He answers and says, I don't have the energy to do this with you right now. I'm painting. I don't want to talk. I say, what about my feelings? What about me? He scoffs. What about you? And then he hangs up. I haven't heard from him since. I know he's waiting for me to break down and contact him, as that has historically been the case. And there is an update. Breakup.
I mean, if that's the reaction to like, and in his head, he's probably like, well, I mean, your car didn't even get hurt.
Yeah, but it's like, oh my God, someone else was involved who probably has damage to their car.
Yeah, and it's probably, a little, let's be honest. If you get into a fender bender in a parking lot and you can't smooth talk your way out of dealing with that with just cash, what are we doing? What are we doing, man?
I don't keep cash on me.
You got Venmo? You got anything? You got any kind of way to transfer money to another person to say, hey, this isn't my car. This is my girlfriend's car. I'm not on her insurance. Let's do this with cash.
Yeah, I can't.
Everyone wins.
I can't imagine if there was no damage to OP's car, I can't imagine there was that much damage
Probably
to the other
just a
car.
surface scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that, it's just like, didn't even mention it. Ugh. Update. It is 12:15 p.m. my time and still not a word from this fool. He gives no craps. I'm done. And second update, he contacted me. The text I got was, we have the kind of love that was forged in adventure and sealed in the bedroom. What? No mention of the accident or the fight? How do I even respond to this? You don't respond to that text. There are some relevant comments. Stormy Llewellyn. He's 35? Seriously? Dump his butt. He got into an accident in your car, didn't tell you, denies it, acts like he forgot, and then won't speak to you about it. Wow. I can't express how fast I'd be out of that relationship. And Katie Nelson, 898, says, okay, but like the last message you sent her, we have the type of love that's forged in adventure and sealed in the bedroom, is a quote from the Netflix show Disenchantment. OP, it wasn't even an original lame A-week line. Oh, heck no. That's so... OP's like, it wasn't even original? He stole that?
He copy-pasted.
And it still sucked. No Ordinary Rabbit says, is your name Gwen? John Honey 420 says, do you know the extent of the damage on the other car or a possible contact? Maybe directly speak to the owner of the other vehicle. And Opie says, from what my insurance says, the lady just wants her deductible paid out, $500 to get her bumper fixed. Dumb boyfriend says that it was barely a scratch, so that seems like a lot of money. I like the idea of talking to the chick directly. And top comments, blah blah Hannah says, are you absolutely positive that he isn't actually 3 children in a trench coat? Opie says, OMFG, I am crying laughing at this. And there is an update. Man, oh man. But yeah, I think this relationship is kind of over, unfortunately, if this is how he handles things like this.
Look, I'm sorry. Again, I'm circling. I've hammered this point a few times. If you're 35, you don't know how to negotiate out of a fender bender. Well, I don't know.
If you're
not
35
ready for
and ignoring calls from the insurance company about an accident you got into in your girlfriend's car.
Right. Right, and
I don't
all
think
that,
you're ready for a
all that
relationship.
stems from
Yeah.
being unable to grease the palm
Yeah.
of that person in the moment when you made the mistake. You say, hey, there's a scratch on your rear
This
bumper.
man just sounds like he avoids
get it
all
fixed.
sorts of conflict
You know.
entirely.
I don't know. You gotta know how to talk.
Yeah.
You gotta know how to talk your way through a situation sometimes.
Update. I was straight up blown away by the support, suggestion, and compassion I was shown by total strangers. So I know most of you said ghost him, but I just couldn't. While undoubtedly that is what he deserved, I needed to hear from his perspective why he thought any of this was okay, because before I could close the door. And honestly, I'm glad I did, because it solidified for me that this relationship was an excellent learning experience, that I had done my learning, and it was time to move the F on. His avoidance of the situation was explained by his thinking it wasn't that big of a deal. He said that he didn't understand why this lady was making such a big fuss about her bumper, and that I was unreasonably upset about it, and he didn't want to talk about it until I had calmed down. Oh, no, I kept it together until I got his side of the story. According to him, they were both backing out of their parking spots and smacked into each other. He was all the way out of his spot. She was halfway out of hers when bang. I literally dialed the phone and sat with him while he called the insurance rep and gave his statement. He was found at fault due to his being all the way out of the spot. I am not 100% sure what this means for me, my policy, or my pocket yet. As far as the relationship, done. When he came over to talk, I had all his things packed up. I tried to explain how hurt and disappointed I was about his actions and told him that I could no longer trust him because of how terribly he handled the situation. He said, I crap you not. Oh, please, you just set a fire and expected me to come to your rescue and put it out, and when I didn't, you threw a fit. I'm sorry, I just didn't have the energy to put out your fire. This is your goddamn fire set by your crappy actions and fueled by your avoidance. I burst into tears, handed him his bag, and said I needed him to leave. Now, I told him anything of mine left at his place he can throw away, or leave there until his next victim or mother comes and cleans it for him. Speaking of his mother, I did listen to you and crafted a very detailed email to her with him CC'd. I explained what happened and then asked her for his driver's license number and policy name and ID number just in case it's needed. Her response was, I'm very sorry that you're having to deal with this, but I don't see how this is our problem if it was your car. I feel like this whole family are a bunch of lizard people sent to Earth to make me question my reality. By the way, the reality of your situation is that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio and search it by OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left, but dang.
A family of reptilians.
Dang. I mean, moral of the story, be careful who you let drive your car.
Yeah, I mean,
Make sure that they have some insurance. Honestly, like there's very, very, my parents are always saying, don't let anyone drive your car because you're not insured.
You need to, if you know, like if you have a partner or you live with somebody, if you know someone's going to be driving your car a lot, if you have a roommate, whatever, you can add them to your insurance. You can add drivers to your insurance.
Yeah, like make sure you do that because honestly, even if he was a good guy and like took care of this, he'd still not be on the insurance. And
right.
There's so many instances where accidents happen by accident.
It's called CYA. This is what my mom taught me.
What?
It stands for cover your booty.
There's a little bit left. Anyway, single at 32 again. I am sad as F, but trying to focus on the plus side, as someone said, cutting a bunch of weight. Thanks again for all the love and laughs. And yes, once it is determined how much is this going to affect my rates and my pocket, I will be taking his cartoon quoting A to small claims court. I have already spoken to my attorney about it. Much love, Pixie. Relevant comment says, or T3 Teden? I don't see how this is our problem if it was your car. Well, we found where he gets it from. And OP says, seriously, here's the thing. If it had been me in his car, you best believe his family would have expected me to pay for any damages. And they have stupid money. Yeah, people who have stupid money for a reason because they're stingy with it.
You want to hear really quick a story time of the stupidest stupid money I've ever seen in my life? I grew up in St. Louis. The Bush family that owned Anheuser-Busch is from St. Louis. Low-key, their family's cursed, but that's a different story. There was a guy, one of the Bush children, had a finger monkey. Had a little pygmy finger monkey that he would bring with him to parties.
That sounds illegal.
It probably was.
Oh my goodness.
But they had
that's crazy money.
Hundreds of millions, if not maybe billions of dollars.
Shocking.
So, and boy, oh boy, was he a sack of rocks up here.
Dude,
just
also
ding-dong.
Some of those rich people are stingy as heck. Anyway, that is the end of the Story.
My boyfriend is furious because my brother crashed on my couch after a party.
I mean, did he ruin the couch, though? Did he keep the shoes on?
So, my brother and I live in different parts of the country and only really see each other once every few months. He was going to be in my town from last Wednesday until Saturday evening, so we made plans to go clubbing on Friday night with some friends of mine. We hung out and came home around 4, and I only have one bed in my apartment, so my brother crashed on my couch. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Slept on the Couch, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, we both woke up a few hours later, grabbed lunch, and went to the airport, and my brother headed back over to where he lives. After that, he sent me a text when his flight got in safely, and that it was. Now, my boyfriend and I don't live together, but I stay at his place quite often, or he'll stay at mine. He usually works 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out, and he came home yesterday morning, so naturally, I was pretty excited to see him. I picked him up, and we came back to my place. Afterward, while chatting, I mentioned that my brother slept the night at my place, and he kind of got weird. I kind of prodded him to tell me what was up because, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what would cause him to go so quiet and sullen when just 5 minutes before we were having a flowing conversation. He told me it was nothing, so I just left it and then later asked him again because he was still in a bad mood. He said that he didn't like the idea of another man staying at my place, regardless of who it is, and that it will not be happening in the future. No more men, no matter if they are kin. I really got confused here because it's my brother sleeping on my couch for one night after we hung out. It's not some stranger or hell, even a guy friend of ours. It's my brother. I laughed it off and said, "You can't be serious. You have to be joking." And he got really angry and left my place.
Hey, the trash just took itself out. Good job.
Last night, I got an angry text saying that as his girlfriend, I have to respect his wishes. And while I get respecting that your significant other wants compromise and the works, isn't this ridiculous? I responded asking him why my brother sleeping on my couch was so bad, and he just said it just was, and that a proper girlfriend doesn't let other men stay over alone with her, and that it's incredibly disrespectful to him. More confusion from me because, again, this isn't some dude I brought home. It's my brother. So I tried talking to him after this, but I got a message saying we'll talk when he's composed himself. What am I to do? I really love my boyfriend, but this is just confusing and I don't know how to react. Also, I should know I've never had any other guys alone in my place. Literally only my boyfriend, apart from my brother, has ever been with me alone there. The only other guys have been there have been if I have a small group get together, and that's quite rare.
Wait, this is OP's place?
Even worse. Insanity. It's breakup time, girl.
So we got to edit. Okay, so my boyfriend and I have been texting the past hour or so. What do you think he said? Do you have any guesses?
He's just being like, duh, I can't accept that other men exist. That's me, though. I think he's just hyper. And he's also probably trying to pull a power play. It feels very like alpha male, like, this is what a guy, like a real man in a relationship demands from his partner. And it's like, by the way, all those guys are just trying to sell you a course. It's stupid. Just be present with your partner and trust them, at least with their siblings. This guy has just showed you that he's trash. That's all.
Okay, so my boyfriend and I have been texting the past hour or so. He sent me a hey, and I was kind of in a pissy mood after he brushed me off last night. So I simply replied with the, "Are you ready to talk?" He replied, "Okay." So I asked him what the deal was with my brother sleeping on the couch. He's not some random guy from a bar. He's not even a guy friend. He's more than that. He's my brother. I grew up with him, and there's absolutely no reason for him to worry or freak out in that situation because it's my brother of all people. There is literally nothing threatening in that situation, not physically towards me or towards our relationship. His response, I just am not comfortable with that. I know it's your brother, but I think there are boundaries that should be in place. Why didn't he go back to the friend's place he stayed at on Wednesday and Thursday? My response: you're not answering my question and just telling me what you told me last night. Also, my apartment was closer to the club than his friend's place. We've been together for some time now, and I think as a couple, it looks bad when you let other guys stay over regardless of who they are to you. I would never do something to you like that, and I think it's only fair that you reciprocate that. It's hard to explain things because I know you can't see them from my perspective. Continued: you shouldn't really need other guys so close to you. Why couldn't you just put your brother in a cab and send him on his way just like we normally do with all our other friends? Anyway, I'm in a meeting right now, and I'll talk to you later. Enjoy your day, babe. Bye. We got an edit too. I like the part where he didn't answer any questions.
Yeah, where he just made this all your fault, essentially. He's just like, yeah, it's actually just you being incredibly disrespectful. Does he not know what a brother is? Is he confused? Did he hit his head recently? What are the passable excuses for, like, thinking this way? Like, are there even any?
No, it's just insecure. It's coming from a place of insecurity. Or he's thinking some really messed up things.
I don't think we have that, but it's like, regardless, he needs to find another one, and it shouldn't be with you, OP, because if this is what he's doing now, like, just imagine the other things that are going to come down the line.
Edit 2. Everyone, I don't even know how the heck to react right now. This is the first time he's ever acted like this. He's met my brother before, and they've always gone along so well. Comments. Comment 1. The whole disrespectful to him thing screams that he thinks of you as his, as in property to me. Comment 2. This is pretty disturbing behavior in my opinion. Very controlling and unreasonable. I'd be very wary if I were you. I think you need to get to the bottom of this before your relationship progresses any farther. Very controlling stuff. My only thought here would be, and perhaps this is blowing it way out of proportion, but does he have some kind of traumatic brother/sister relationship thing in his past somewhere? OP replies, he's an only child, so no chance of any traumatizing brother/sister events in his past. So he probably doesn't even understand how brothers and sisters work, like Dakota.
It's just like, if you cannot trust your partner with their own sibling, if you're going to feel disrespected by the presence of just another male, regardless of biological relation, then you are not built for a relationship right now. You have other priorities and other things that you need to sort out.
I don't think you're built for anything right now. My guy is trying to pretty much own his girlfriend. He has no idea how relationships work and all of that. If that's just how he is with just guys in general, like, oh, you can't have any male friends along with any male siblings? This guy's out of pocket.
It's so over.
So against my better judgment, I did not immediately break up with my boyfriend. I tried convincing myself it was a one-time thing. Maybe he was just having a rough patch, and I tried pushing it down. I did not tell my brother what happened, and he replied saying he'd always thought of my boyfriend and him were cool with each other at the very least. He then told me my boyfriend is being nuts, and if I need to crash for a few days, I could come up to his end. So the rest of the week remained tense with my boyfriend, but closer to the weekend, it was relaxed-ish. We went on a date, hung out with some friends at a bar together, and yet for the life of me, I couldn't figure out reasons for his outburst. So on Sunday, I asked him again, now that you seem in a better mood, would it be so bad if I asked what was up last week? And once again, mood went from friendly and relaxed to Arctic. He simply asked me if I'd keep bringing up BS when we were doing okay.
Because it's highly concerning and breakup worthy.
This guy's tunnel visioned as heck, man.
I got pretty angry at him and told him to leave my apartment. Since Sunday, I've been stewing and just looking back at our relationship. Sure, I have my friends, but we hang out with them much less. The ones we do hang out with are more his friends and people that he is cool with being with. It was rough, but looking back on it, I started seeing controlling behavior from him that I had never taken up due to either just being head over heels and willing to compromise on everything, and by compromise, I mean roll over and give up. We talked last week, and I gave him an ultimatum, something I never expected to give my relationship. Either you sit and try to talk this out with me like a rational person, no BS answers, and no dodging questions, or we break up. Instead of having a conversation, he broke down, started telling me I was the best thing he's ever had, and that he has issues that he can't even begin to explain, and that he doesn't want to lose me. By the way, you will never lose us if you join us on your favorite podcast platform. Just search up OK Storytime, and what will be there, Dakota?
48 days later, and you will have listened to the entire OK Storytime catalog. However, that's 48 consecutive days, nonstop.
Anyways, back to the story. After you see one red flag, it seems like there's a whole pile of them. How big does one red flag need to be in order to see all the small ones?
It's not even that this is necessarily the biggest red flag ever. It's just more like such a telling indicator that, like, well, this isn't a person who you want to be in a relationship with. He's insecure about your brother. And it's more like just like on the basis, like, principle that he is a man. That's ridiculous. And now for him to be like, well, it's like I have all this stuff and all these things, these problems that you can't even begin to understand. It's like, yeah, I can't understand because you're not going to talk to me about it. So if you're literally not going to say anything, if you're not going to explain yourself whatsoever, then there's no way forward. Even if you do explain yourself, OP still has the right to be like, all right, well, it's nice to know at least where your head's at. However, I don't think I can be with you still. So it's all up to this guy on whether or not he wants to even try to be honest. But if I were OP, I'd be done.
I'd be out of there, girl. But we got the end of this story right here. Now, I'm sorry if this is the part that makes me seem like a witch, but it wasn't the answer I wanted or deserved. Not when I've been the one rolling over and giving him whatever throughout our entire relationship. So I told him that it was best if we didn't see each other anymore and that he should leave my apartment. Because he was about to love bomb you. Here we go. This is going to make some people mad. Yes, let me man up and talk to you about my issues.
Yeah.
If you have something like that, great. But it seems like it was about to become a cycle.
To OP being like, it's not the answer I wanted. OP, you didn't get one. You literally didn't even get an answer. You got an excuse, which is, I've got so many problems. Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, it's the universal human experience. Everyone has a lot of problems. Everyone deals with them every day. Like, if you're in a partnership with somebody, that's someone you can tell your problems to. If there's real vulnerability and openness here, there is a path forward. However, it doesn't feel like this guy is going to do that at all. And it feels like he said that probably as a cheap attempt to try to manipulate OP into just being like, oh, well, he's got problems.
He left and spent almost 2 hours just sitting in his car in front of my place before leaving when it was close to midnight. So yeah, we broke up. I admit I feel more saddened than relieved, hoping I don't do something stupid like waste down him or call him over because I'm lonely or something like that. But yeah, we're not together anymore. It sucks, but it had to be done. I think it's the best.
My boyfriend wants to take home for the holidays, but I'm afraid due to my weight.
What?
What do you
Sorry,
know?
I'm going to say, oh no. But just say what you're going to say. Okay.
Say what you need.
My boyfriend wants to take me home for the holidays, but I'm afraid due to my weight.
What? Wait. They don't love me like I love you.
I met my boyfriend online. He's from Europe.
Luxembourg.
That's a city.
What do you mean? It is a country.
Is it?
I think Luxembourg's a city-state. And it's where the highest concentration of wealth on earth is.
You got me. He's
right,
from
he's right.
Luxembourg.
Yes.
I live in America.
Geography.
We've been together for 2 years, actually together for 10 months. He started coming to America early this year because he plans on coming here permanently for school next year. He's amazing. He is the nicest, sweetest, funniest person I've ever met, and I have no idea how I got this lucky. He's also way above me in terms of looks, and I have pretty low self-esteem to start with that occasionally puts me down because women obviously check out. As you probably guessed from the title, I'm overweight. I'm not like 400 pounds. I can walk, run, touch my toes, and take care of myself. I'm really obsessive with my hygiene because I'm scared of fulfilling the fat people smell bad stereotype. I try to wear things that flatter me, but I always keep my arms and back covered. My boyfriend is the only person outside my family who has seen me without a sweater. I try to put effort into my appearance because if I'm going to be fat, I could at least be fat and not slobby. I've never been a healthy weight. The last time I was a healthy weight was when I came out of my mom, LOL. My parents were poor when I was growing up, so I grew up with the if you don't clean your plate, you're wasting food mentality. Once when I was about 5, I had to sit at the table for hours until I finished it. Side note, my parents aren't abusive. They were 19 and 20 at the time and didn't know what they were doing. We have an amazing relationship now.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't blame my parents for all my weight problems. I'm grown. I like to cook and bake, and I don't make healthy food. I grew up fat and was constantly bullied for my weight and glasses, so I haven't had good self-esteem in a long time. Because of my weight and low self-esteem, I do not want to go home with my boyfriend for Christmas. 2 days ago, he asked what I thought about meeting his family and spending Christmas and New Year's in his home country. I told him I'd think about it, and the more I think about it, the more I'm dreading even the idea. I really want to meet his family. I love him, and if we got married, I'd be the happiest girl. But I also really don't want to go. I don't want to be on a plane because I don't know how big the seats are. I'm worried about being in a country where most people are thin and walk and bike everywhere. I'm terrified of his family not liking me because they know we can do better.
Oh, first,
I'll give Opie a hug.
we need to stop caring what people think about us
But
that we'll
that's-
never see again.
It's easy to say, but it's incredibly hard to do, especially when OP said they've grown up being bullied for their weight
Yeah.
and stuff. And that is a really hard mindset to get over.
True.
Especially because you hear stories about young girls who don't fit the mold being asked out as a joke. I'm not saying OP's had that, but when you have experiences of being bullied for how you look, I'm sure it's hard to think that anyone would. Remember, your boyfriend loves and appreciates you and
Right.
thinks the world of you. You can have that conversation, tell him about your insecurities, be honest and say, I really want to meet your parents, but I have fears and I go through life differently than you because I have more weight than you and I experience the world differently. And I think that's an important conversation to have.
If it's impacting you to that degree, is therapy, it's talk therapy or whatever to work through your blocks.
Yeah. But OP is right. A lot of Europeans treat overweight Americans differently.
Oh,
Like, not even that, just Americans.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
people
well,
hate Americans.
Americans in general, but there is a stereotype which
Oh,
is
yeah.
unfair and doesn't go into the complexities of like how people put on weight, why people are putting on weight. It just doesn't think about it at all.
They're just mad they don't have
Yeah.
football in fourth.
So I think being honest to your partner and having that conversation is helpful. I've been a little mopey these past few days and he's noticed. I don't want him to think I don't want to meet his family because I'm not committed to him. I just don't want to embarrass him. So what do? Do I go? If I could lose 80 pounds in the next couple of weeks, I could go, but that's impossible. Do I just not go and tell him why? Would that mess up our relationship? I'm so confused and I don't know what to do. Edit. I'm sorry I haven't gotten everyone's comments. I've been in class and the amount of comments got overwhelming. Everyone has been telling me to go. I know I need to. I'm going to tell him yes, I'm going before I let myself back out. Thank you for everyone who pushed me to go. I know I need to step out of my comfort zone at some point. Do you have any other thoughts?
No, not really. You got to be vulnerable with your partner. If
Absolutely.
you're going to be vulnerable with anybody, you got to be vulnerable with your partner.
Sharing insecurities with the person you're in a relationship with is important.
Yeah. Make a goal to lose weight. If this is impacting you negatively, you can't travel, you feel scrutinized and anxious.
It's important to be honest where you are because right now this is who you are. Regardless of the future,
It's a separate conversation.
it's a separate conversation to say, oh, if you want to lose weight,
Yeah.
that's a future conversation.
I was gonna
right
say,
now,
yeah.
the conversation is she's going in a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it matters in the context of this conversation.
The story
Yeah.
never happens again. Like, there's no way to lose 80 pounds in 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
you definitely lose 80 pounds in
If
2.5
yeah.
years.
Purple Trader says 140. Thank you for the dollars. Need more time.
There it is.
And we have it.
We've done it.
We've got it. But there is some relevant comments. Medical Conundrum says, wait. I think you are far overthinking this. If he's one of the sweetest, most caring people, that's likely a reflection of how he was raised. Opie says, I've never thought of that. And that's a great point. I've seen pictures of his parents, said hi over the phone, and they know I exist, but they haven't really seen me. They seem nice, but I don't know. Hagen Shao says, I know how hard this can be, not wanting to meet people because you're afraid they'll judge you for your weight. The anxiety usually turns out fine. Why not ask your boyfriend straight up? Say, I feel as though your parents will hate me because I'm large. Thoughts? He will likely be like, what the F, OP, and tell you how wrong you are. Honestly, that's probably exactly what he'd do. He doesn't understand why I don't think I'm pretty or attractive. It's really hard for me to take compliments, and he doesn't get why. I do think he'd stick up for me if someone was rude, but then what if they're mean and I cause an argument between them? He's from Germany. And Happy Poodle says, I think you should go. Your boyfriend's parents raised him to be the man who appreciates you for who you are. There is a chance they will judge you, but that chance is always there when meeting the parents. And it could be because you're poor, wrong color skin, wrong religion, etc. But if you never go, if you never try because you are afraid, then where does that leave you? Don't you think you deserve the chance for a good relationship with these people? Also, on a practical note, I'm sure they've seen pictures of you. This won't be a complete surprise. You say you've been fat your whole life, but I don't think you have accepted it about yourself. You talk like your boyfriend is doing you a favor by dating you despite your weight. That is never a good mindset for a relationship, and you are approaching his family the same way, under the assumption that you aren't good enough. Therapy would also be good. You are good enough. You deserve a relationship, and provided your boyfriend's parents aren't totally dysfunctional, you deserve a chance to have a happy relationship with them. And OP responds, thank you for this. There are plenty of things that they could judge me for. I guess I'm just focusing on this because it's the most obvious besides my skin color. He's told me before how extremely anti-racist they are, though, so that's not something I'm too worried about. I guess it would make sense for them to have seen me. Pictures can be flattering, though. They can't look at me from a selfie angle 24/7. Haha. And I don't accept my weight. I hate it. There's not a single part of my body I like. I feel like my boyfriend is doing me a favor. He can do so much better, and I feel like he settled for me. I know I need therapy, but I don't know how to talk about how I feel. Writing this post was a struggle. It was recently that I realized feeling this way about myself wasn't normal. I want a relationship with his parents. I want them to like me. I'm scared I'll do something to F it up. And there is an update.
Everyone's scared of doing something dumb and effing it up with the parents.
Yeah.
You don't need to lose 80 pounds to love yourself. As someone was like, telling an overweight person to lose weight is like telling a drowning person to breathe. The key is not like you need to lose weight to be happy. It's hard to start, but once you have structure, I never had momentum in a gym or with a diet until I just started writing everything down like a log.
Yeah, I think it's a separate conversation because if she wants to lose weight, that's her decision. But the conversation here is, how do we love ourselves as we are? How do we have a more positive outlook about ourselves as we are? Because people in any weight can look many different ways and be upset about how they look. Even skinny people do this. You need to think positively about yourself in the state you are.
Yeah.
Those are two separate conversations. If she wants to or doesn't want to, that's her choice.
Well, and I disagree with that is because it reads like to me, she's like, I've been overweight my whole life. I don't want to be overweight anymore. I don't think losing a certain amount of weight is like a finish line that you get to. And now it's like, now I can love myself. It's like, you're going to have to figure that out at the very beginning. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to get anything done if you don't come from a place of like self-love. And
guess what? If you lose the weight and you're like, I still hate myself.
Yeah.
And
Taylor Von Compen says, gotta love yourself first. Losing weight won't change how you feel about yourself. That's why I think it's separate. Zoe Higgson has been there, and the only thing that kept it off was weight loss surgery. Having a deep ingrained bad relationship with food is hard to overcome. Duchess Cassandra says, it shouldn't just be about losing weight either. It should be a consideration of healthy diet and exercise in order to live a healthy and fulfilling life. As long as you are happy and living a healthy lifestyle, weight doesn't matter.
And you're not negatively thinking about yourself. The first thing is how you perceive yourself.
Yeah.
Way before anyone else perceives you. Mm-hmm. It's not, what are they going to think? What does my boyfriend think? It's foremost, what do you think?
Yeah, it starts right there.
I think it's just like, you can't conceive that your boyfriend would find you pretty. And that is something that we need to go. He's with you. He's not settling. He loves you. He thinks you're beautiful. And I think that right now you are in this mindset of like, fat cannot equal beautiful, and that is categorically untrue. Like right now we're in this phase of trying to come into a period as a society where we accept all body types. It's still not great, obviously, but it's just like knowing that all of history, different body types have been a trend, and you have to know that weight has nothing to do with beauty. And it's such a hard thing to understand because our society says it does. But yeah, I think therapy is super important right now because your boyfriend loves you.
Big facts.
There is an update.
There's a comment from Josephine. I'm trying to find it.
Before we get into this update, Josephine says, please highlight this comment. If you don't love yourself and your body before losing weight, you won't love or like it even when you reach your goal.
Exactly that.
Billy Bug says, I just had a conversation with a friend today about how fat and beautiful are not mutually exclusive. Some of the most beautiful people I have known have been fat. Absolutely. People will be like, oh, I'm fat. And someone's like, no, you're beautiful. A person will be like, I wasn't saying I wasn't beautiful. Stop equating the two. But there is an update. Hey, everyone. It's been about a month since my first post, and a couple people asked for an update. The general consensus was to talk to my boyfriend about my concerns and go through with the trip. So I did. I sat my boyfriend down and said we needed to talk, which scared him because nobody in a relationship wants to hear.
True.
Once I was done explaining, he just looked at me like I was insane and was like, you really think my family would be that shallow?
Oh, man.
When he put it that way, it dawned on me how silly I was being. We talked about my self-esteem, and he asked if there was any way to help me feel better. I told him I didn't want my self-esteem to rely on one person. He already compliments me so much that there's not any room for improvement in that place. We decided that our New Year's resolution was just to start eating healthier and going on walks. And by the way, you can do little things like listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeart and search up OK Storytime. But there's a little bit left to the story. As for the trip, I did end up going and had a blast the second I got in the plane and fit in the seat fine. My mood went from dread to complete excitement. His family is amazing. His mom is the sweetest woman on the planet and makes amazing hot chocolate. He gets his sense of humor from his dad. We stayed until January 5th, and in the end, I didn't want to leave. The food, markets, snow, people, everything was incredible. Can't wait to go back. Thank you to everyone who convinced me. I'm so happy I stepped out of my comfort zone.
Yay. That's right. Get
This
out
is
of
the first
comfort
step.
zone.
It was
This is the
great.
first step.
Yeah.
Realizing
It was like you're just really in your head about it, just talking to him, and it's all going to be fine. I'm very happy for OP because it worked out.
Yeah.
It should have worked out.
absolutely.
All you need was talk.
Communicate. Nothing more to it. But we're going to get into next.
more. My father plans to reconcile with my cheating mother. I'm thinking about running away.
He shouldn't do that.
I am 17 male and had my worst birthday last week. But don't worry, buddy, there's plenty more. Context, my dad and egg donor divorced when I was 14. So yeah, this is going to be 3 years worth of details that happened. My egg donor cheated on my dad and had a year-long affair. Oh, we clearly don't like the mom. By the way, this comes from user Zealous Ideal Neck 2368. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. My dad found out and while separating explained to me what happened. I was already mature and having big conversations with my dad, like politics, so he didn't hide anything. Imagine the conversation was just red, good, blue, bad. Yeah, I was 14 having big boy conversations. I was and still am disgusted with my donor. Should we just call her Deborah? Egg donor will heretofore be known as Deborah. Swore that day that I would never call her mom. Even now, I either call her by her name or just say, hey, you, at the start of the conversation.
So funny.
I moved in with her affair partner. Dad got the house, but unfortunately couldn't get full custody. I wasn't given a preference because while I was staying with my dad during the separation, I got into a fight at school. I have a bit of a temper issue. Deborah's lawyer used that incident to get joint custody until I turned 18. I was like, WTF in court. I think Deborah slept with the judge to get that ruling. My dad is a great human being, never raised his voice, and has always loved me so much. He occasionally says, I love you, son. Makes me cringe, but I accept it. My dad is a very loving person. He always says he has an ocean of love to give. He loved my mom so much. Whenever Deborah returned from work, my dad used to hug her, give her a kiss, and ask her how her day was. Yes, even when she was having a year-long affair. I don't know what kind of human she is to keep up that facade when your partner is loving you so much. Things became serious last month when I had a huge fight with my entire maternal side of the family. I was very close with my maternal grandparents, but I started distancing myself after the divorce. We visited my grandparents' house, and I was pissed that affair partner was present with Deborah, and the trip was for an entire weekend. I wasn't very keen on spending a weekend with them, but my dad convinced me it was going to be great, and boy, was he wrong. Past 2 years, my grandparents had asked me so many times to change my attitude towards Deborah, but I never cared. Things went crazy when they tried to have an intervention with me. Grandparents, Deborah, and affair partner were present. I was completely blindsided. All 4 of them were sitting opposite of me. They gave me the entire couch to sit by myself. It was like a therapy session. Egg donor and grandparents started their attack one by one while affair partner was silent. My temper took over and the a-hole version of me came out. I turned towards affair partner and said, hey, you, F off. This is between family. Honestly is fair. I don't think you should have the affair partner at whatever little intervention you're having to be like, you need to be okay with your mom existing.
It's like, shut up. You cheated with my mom.
Also, here's the person you arguably hate more than anyone on earth right now, the affair partner. Everyone was shocked at my tone. Deborah tried to end the intervention because she knew that what would happen when this side of me came out. My grandparents didn't budge. I'm their only grandson, and they didn't want to lose connection with me as I started distancing myself. Affair partner was ashamed and was leaving when I said other hurtful things. I said, she cheated on my dad with you. She'll cheat on you with someone else. Correct. So that caused more damage. He couldn't say a word, and then I hit the final blow. I hope your son also gets cheated on by his future wife so he can know what kind of an a-hole his father is. That hit him hard. He was angry and went out storming. And I will forgive that because you are between 14 and 16
Somewhere
in this moment.
between 14 and 17.
Which, yeah, it's very
Still a
black
child.
and white. And look, I'm not going to sit here and be like infidelity is okay or not bad. But it's like there's not usually always a black and white. There's a lot of gray stuff in the middle once you get into adult land, like why people do things. It's like, is his mom like an irredeemable monster for like being infidelitous? No, most likely no. Does it absolve her of like any responsibility or guilt coming from OP right now? Also no. But it's like, this is just a very emotionally charged teenager dealing with the implosion of his own family. Bro wanted to follow affair partner out the door, but I didn't let her go. I asked her to sit so once and for all we could finish this. Deborah started crying, saying, how can her only son treat her this way? Well, Deborah, you should understand that you have upset him. Grandparents were disappointed in me. Turned towards my mom and started unloading everything. I explained how much I loved her, how much dad loved her, and how she betrayed us. I brought out the instances when I used to sleep next to my mom after watching movies when I was 13, and said how she was my safe space, how much I cared for her, and everything. I hit her hard with just imagine how much you've ruined everything, that so much love turned to hatred.
And the thing is, I don't think OP does like fully hate his mom. I think that when you care about someone so much and they betray you, so angry because you love them so much and that love is not gone. Just so confusing. And you're like, like you've made me so angry. And there's so much emotion in here because you were so important to me. He just like doesn't have the words.
Has zero experience.
And he needs therapy. Big time.
She couldn't control her sobbing after that. Even my grandparents started to cry. It was hard seeing my grandfather cry, but what can you do when you raise? Deborah started to shift blame towards my dad, saying he had poisoned me. Classic victim card move. The thing is, my dad, after the divorce, attended therapy sessions to get his life back on track. The last step of that therapy was to make a video about your feelings. My dad made a video about how he forgave Deborah and wished her a great life. He was supposed to send this video to Deborah but couldn't, so he sent it to me. I played the 2-year-old video and everyone just sat silently, no shocking reaction, no nothing, because they knew how great of a person my dad was. Deborah couldn't control her emotions. I even doubled down by saying, me and dad loved you so much that we were ready to take a bullet for you, but now even if you pass away tomorrow, I will not be visiting your funeral. That's probably a little too far though. I'm not going to make anybody feel better. Not even you, OP.
It's just like this is a kid who needs therapy so badly with all of that pain and stuff that he's going through.
I turned towards my grandparents and started shouting at them, asking how they could raise their daughter to be a cheater. I so wanted to use the W word, but controlled myself. I also said that now I can't trust girls in my school and am scared to get a girlfriend. Buddy, that was going to happen either way. Don't worry about that.
You gotta fix that now before OP gets this like very unhealthy view of women, because very worrisome if that OP is saying this.
100%. Both my grandparents and Deborah didn't say anything. Couldn't stand there anymore and called my dad to pick me up. My grandparents apologized to my dad when he came to pick me up for how he was treated during the divorce. My dad knew something was up but didn't say anything. Deborah and affair partner had gone out for a walk. I forgot to mention my dad started dating again and had met an amazing woman. She is also a divorcee with no kids. She treats my dad amazingly and he deserves someone amazing. All of that huge fight in my grandparents' house led to what happened last week on my birthday. Oh, this was all a prelude. This wasn't even the story. Deborah came to my birthday without the affair partner, which was shocking, but I didn't care. After the party, both Deborah and my dad were having a conversation on the balcony, and I could hear everything. It was shocking to know that Dad and Deborah were in contact for a week before, where she begged my dad for forgiveness
and my dad forgave her. On the balcony, she was asking if they could reconcile and start a new chapter. I was shocked to hear that, as was my dad. She said she broke up with a fair partner because she realized she's still in love with dad. What a load of bullcrap.
Oh, ouch.
This is where you go, Deborah, I forgave you, but I'm not forgetting.
Yeah.
There's
You
a
say, Deborah,
difference.
we've moved on.
I wish no ill upon you. However, I don't wish to have you back.
I don't love you. You may love me. Can't say the same about you.
Don't worry, Deb, you'll make it through. So, they had realized I heard everything and came into the living room so all three of us could discuss this. What was shocking was that my dad was actually considering saying we could again become a family.
Dating someone, no? You literally dating someone?
I shouted at him and asked him to recall how much Deborah betrayed us, how he had to go to therapy to get his life back on track. Dad was stuck in between. I tried everything to convince Dad, recalling how great our family was and that we could go back to that. I was having none of it and asked egg donor to leave. Dad asked me to speak respectfully to her. As I said, he is a great human. I even mentioned how a fair partner and Deborah were together for years but didn't get married. She said it was their choice. I couldn't take it anymore and went brutal on my dad. Teenager, anger problems. He said, when you were hugging and kissing your wife as soon as she came home, asking her how her day went, she was somewhere moaning to some other guy's strokes. You did not say that. Kimberly, fine. They literally stole your line. Literally, I saw it in there at some point. She's talking about back shots of words for the son and the dad.
Yeah.
Dad, talk to your therapist about this before you make any decisions.
Please stop putting your son in the middle of this.
It's not a time for this to be talked out.
No.
With your son.
No,
who
don't be like, I'm
hates
thinking about
Deborah.
getting back with your mom. Like, no. Stop having
Nuh-uh.
that conversation with your son.
That was a huge whiff. OP needs therapy,
Therapy.
which is, again, the dad's responsibility. Dad's really dropping the ball on, like, what does OP actually need to thrive
I
here?
agree. Like, OP's like, oh, dad's such a great person. It's like, okay, but he's not taking into consideration what you need as a child.
Yeah. Where's your therapy? He got his therapy. Where's yours? That hit my dad hard. He looked at me in shock. I imagine that's a shocking thing to hear come out of the mouth of your child.
Yeah.
Also said, if they get back together, I will run away and never contact you. Say a word and just left to take a walk. I knew then and there I said something horrible. Deborah also left without saying anything. I called my dad. He did not pick up the first time, but when he did, I apologized and asked why he would ever consider taking her back. I said he has an amazing girlfriend right now, and this was something my dad didn't know. He thought I hated his girlfriend like I hated the affair partner. But as soon as I said that, he asked me to say the truth, whether I really like his girlfriend and wouldn't object if she became part of our family. I happily said yes, and that I wouldn't hesitate to call her mom. That's also therapy time.
I don't know. It feels like OP's like sting the situation to get with, like, I don't think you would, do you actually see her as your mom, or are you just saying that so that your dad won't get back together with your bio mom?
Well, I think OP has made the decision that his mom is dead to him.
Yeah.
And that now they're like, well, if you marry your girlfriend, then I can have a mom again. I can make her mom. But it's like, you can't.
Therapy.
Which is not something you can understand as a teenager, maybe inherently, unless you're like one of those, I feel like Millie Bobby Brown was a great example of just like a genius, emotionally genius kid. Well, because she played Stranger Things. A lot of times kids can't get emotion.
Well, I was like, what are you talking about?
Like, this is clearly one of those cases where it's like, it's not happening. Oh, I want to call her mom. Dad was very happy to hear that, which again, Dad should have immediately been like, you need therapy if you're thinking that. When Deborah got around to knowing this, she got angry and asked how I could choose someone else over her. I said, I will pick even the devil over you. She said, I was heartless, and what I said and did was very hurtful. She was right about that.
Like, it's just big old therapy chant. No advice for you other than therapy.
My dad asked me to go to therapy and get my temper under control as well as my mouth, and I am considering it. Grandparents called and said it's time to forgive Deborah like my dad did. I said no. Said what I said and did on my birthday was wrong. So am I the a-hole for saying to my father I will run away if he reconciles with my cheating mother?
I don't think the a-hole. I just think that you are very emotionally confused. Need a lot of help.
No one's the a-hole here except
I mean, the mom for cheating.
the mom
I think your grandparents for saying that you have to forgive your mom. I don't think that anyone can rush your forgiveness or demand it. Your dad for not getting you into therapy sooner. I think there's just like a lot of mistakes being made.
Just a lack of therapy. I'd be like, if you're calling your mom the devil, we're just, and you're,
I guess you can.
the
just
anger issues, it's like, I'm concerned. I'm like genuinely concerned about you. Hi guys, it's been 2 weeks since my original post, and I have come bearing an update. First things first, I read all your comments under my post. Man, people on Reddit love supporting cheaters. First, I'll answer a few doubts. For those who are saying my dad alienated me against Deborah, you need to know one thing. When Dad got out of the house, she moved in with a fair partner, so I got to know at that time only that she cheated. My dad never said so. I was 14 when they separated, meaning I already knew what cheating meant. Coming to some good news, as you guys and my dad suggested, I started therapy. Yay! It's been great. Granted, only 2 sessions have happened, but still, it's great. There is a lot of anger and hatred that I have to deal with, and it's going to take some time getting over it. Now coming to the update. I got a drunk call from the affair partner last week, and man, he revealed a lot. Affair partner didn't even know that he was a fair partner. Which
Why is he calling you?
Exactly. I don't know if I would trust a single word that comes out of the drunk affair partner calling you. Yeah, you guys heard that right. Egg donor, aka Deborah, while cheating, said that Dad and her were separated and were sleeping in separate rooms, and also said that they were together now for my sake, and as soon as I joined high school, they were going to get divorced. I was shocked out of my mind as none of those were true. Dad and her always had date nights and had also gone on a trip, just the two of them, in that 1 year she was cheating. Her partner said he didn't know about any of that and thought he was in a legitimate relationship until I spilled everything at my grandparents' house. I find that very, very hard to believe. He said the comment about his son was a real kick in the pants, and that's when he decided to break up with Deborah. He said, have a good life, and cut the call. Man, I feel bad for a fair partner. He didn't know he was in a cheating relationship. Now this all makes sense. Remember when I said F off to a fair partner in my grandparents' house? Egg donor tried to stop the intervention, but I cut her off and spilled everything. Even my grandparents know the entire truth. Everybody was being lied, like even her parents. That's why I was like, how are we going to, really? I then confronted my mom about all of this. My egg donor was first angry that fair partner drunk called me, and I guess she is still a mother. Then she came clean and started crying, saying that she still loved Dad, but this was like an adrenaline rush kind of thing, and she just made a mistake. I just cut the call as I couldn't hear any more excuses. She said one thing, that I shouldn't tell my dad as he is happy now, and she doesn't want to disturb his happiness. What? He already knows. Because, by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories that are a little more easy to believe than this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. You've got the full archive there. And you can listen to every single story and tell us all which ones you think are not real. And you'll just have to listen to every single story. That's going to take you 54 days in a row.
And you can make a little tally and say, this is not real.
Even I think I shouldn't say anything to my dad, especially about a fair partner drunk dialing me, because I know for sure Dad is going to ruin his life. For those wondering, my dad is rich and his lawyers are sharks. Get this, my parents never signed a prenup, yet Deborah did not get anything in the divorce except for custody. My dad has connections, so I don't know what he will do to a fair partner. I'm thinking of going no contact with Mom after I turn 18 and go to college. It's because I loved her for 14 years, and going no contact is a scary thought. So guys, what should I do? Should I go no contact? You know what? I think before you make any of those decisions, you should just keep going to therapy.
Keep going to therapy.
And that is where you're not going to find out whether you should go no contact with your mom
until you go
on
to therapy.
Reddit.
Nope.
You're going to find out whether you contact with your mom in therapy.
But that's the end of that story. My stepmother treated me awfully. It ruined my relationship with my father.
Collateral damage.
As the title says, this happened quite a few years ago when I, 30 female, was a kid, but the entitlement still stings. My parents were in the middle of a nasty divorce. My dad had moved several hours away and was now living with the other party because of the divorce, named in the solicitor's papers, aka my stepmother. By the way, this comes from mycologist false 2332, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, even though I was only a kid, I was semi-aware of what was really going on. It wasn't the first time my dad had moved out because of another woman, but it was the first time the word divorce had been mentioned. In the past, he had always come home after a few weeks full of apologies. So when my stepmother first met me and loudly declared, "Call me mum," I was immediately in her bad books by saying, "No, thank you.
Come on, guys. What are we doing?
Why are we asking new kids to call you mum? I'm your mum now. No, you're not. I don't know you."
What did you just say to me?
But her entitlement only got worse. While Dad was in the process of moving in with my stepmother and sorting custody of me with Mum and solicitors, he would sometimes take me out on day trips. But stepmother always came too, and I became her little project. I wasn't the prettiest kid, but my mom has always said I should enjoy being a kid and not worry about looks for now. In contrast, stepmother's kids, one older than me, one younger, both wore makeup and dressed like they were going to a nightclub. And as stepmother's little project, I had to look like I was going clubbing too. My clothes would be removed as soon as she saw me and replaced with crop tops and mini skirts. She'd sit me down and force my hair into plaits with hair gel. My original clothes would always conveniently go missing when it was home time. What? But my mom couldn't play that game with my new trashy clothes. And if a single hair clip I had been forced to wear went missing, then Dad would be calling up my stepmother's behalf, talking about solicitors and police for theft of property. As a custody arrangement was eventually worked out as me living full-time with Mum, staying with Dad for the school holidays, and that first and last week was rough on me. In all fairness, my dad did try to keep me entertained, but I wasn't used to living with other children. I was an only child. That plus sleeping in a strange place after never being away from my mum for my whole life equals an uncomfortable situation. After a few days, I confessed privately to my dad that I missed Mum. Now I can see how that would hurt his feelings, but I wasn't asking to go home. I was actually angling to use his mobile to call her. I had used the stepmother's landline the day before, but she had hovered, listening the whole time, and it just felt awkward. Dad looked upset, but told me to go and eat some lunch, and off I went. And here's where stepmother's entitled behavior exploded. Sitting next to my stepsister, I suddenly had a plate slapped down in front of me by my stepmother. There! I was confused, but said, "Thank you," and started to eat. Throughout the meal, she started making snide comments in my direction while talking to her daughter. Things like, "Well done, sweetheart. See, you'll never disappoint me unlike someone I know." I was a very timid kid, so I don't know where I got the burst of confidence to say something, but I said, "Is something wrong?" And stepmother snapped back, "You know what, OP? Your father's very important to me and you've really hurt his feelings." I tried to explain, but she snatched my plate and stalked out of the room. I followed her, still hungry, and tried to take my plate back, but she just unleashed on me. Standing in the hallway with this almost stranger screaming in my face is something I'm never going to forget. I was apparently an ungrateful brat, and she washed her hands of me. I burst into tears and completely shrank into myself as she just kept screaming.
Where is Dad?
Little reminder, I was a child under 10 years old and she was over 30. My only crime was missing my mother. I honestly think that she should have been the adult here and had a bit of empathy. How entitled do you have to be to think it's okay to go crazy at a sobbing kid? So yeah, not something I'm likely to forget. End results, I got taken home that day. Several hours driving with Dad, sat in total bone-crushing silence. It did damage our relationship, unfortunately.
That is one of my favorite adjectives.
Bone-crushing?
Yes.
It's a good one. The thing is that I don't think your stepmom is damaging your relationship with your dad. I think your dad is damaging his relationship with you. That he's not standing up for you.
Was he there? Like, did he leave? Did he have to go to work? Like, does he work at night? Like, what are we doing? Like,
I think he was still there.
I refuse to believe that Dad was present to hear fully throated screaming at a child and did not step in. Like, he had to have been gone.
I don't
Because
know.
also the stepmom sounds pretty opportunistic.
So maybe she like went in on OP when he was gone.
That's my
Could
guess.
But there's more. While stepmother was squawking the house down, I vividly remember seeing him through my waterfall of tears, standing at the top of the stairs, watching us and saying nothing. I have no idea what he said to my mom to explain why I was home 2 days early, but I never spoke to her about it. Today is actually the first time I've spoken about it, other than to my husband when we first met and were swapping awful family stories. Fortunately, the only 2 occasions I've seen my stepmother in the 2 decades since have been at family gatherings where we've happily ignored each other. Edit. Just correcting some spelling mistakes and saying wow and thank you guys. Up until now, I suppose I was gaslighting myself into thinking I somehow deserved her shouting at me like she did. I just wanted to add a detail post blow up the custody arrangement changed after that day. I never stayed at or visited stepmother's house again. Instead, it was agreed that Dad would pick me up from school every other Friday, and we would stay with his parents until Sunday afternoon, when he'd drop me back with Mom. And honestly, it was always awkward from there. Mostly because I was resentful that he didn't jump in and defend me against stepmother. I still don't know why he didn't, as he had always, and still does if he gets getting sentimental. But if anyone spoke to me like that or ever hurt me, he'd beat them up. See where my gaslighting comes from? He always said he'd be on my side. So the fact that he wasn't must mean I really deserved it, etc., etc. Also, my dad and stepmother weren't married at the time of the entitlement explosion. They got married a few months later on holiday abroad. I wasn't invited, but my invitation arrived only a week before they were due to leave, and it was half-hearted at that. Dad blamed the solicitors for not delivering the message quickly enough, even though they were divorced by then. The situation was still very hostile, and messages were passed via solicitors for about a year post-divorce. Mom was keen to keep things official for a while, as Dad tended to get overly and loudly offended at everything. One time, he dropped me off with Mom, they started arguing, and her new boyfriend got involved. Then the following week, a solicitor's letter appeared claiming their party had been injured by their... Mom wasn't keen on me attending their wedding. Too many horror stories of kids getting abducted by a parent during or following a divorce, so I said no thank you and didn't go. I'd have looked out of place anyway. Full disclosure though, I still love my dad. We get on well when we chat via text occasionally, but we don't see each other much. I just don't like the majority of his choices. Stepmother being a big fat one. Literally, Dad always used to gloat about how she was to my mom, how he traded up, about her stomach was flat and her belly button pierced, whereas my skinny mom still had a saggy belly from having me. Stepmother, of course, reveled in his compliments. I always remember her swinging her red hair around in a really exaggerated way whenever he said how gorgeous she was. She's like, so pretty. Interesting. Tables have turned, though, over 2 decades later, and my mom looks exactly the same as she did back then, except for gray hair. But stepmother is now rather big, and her red hair is now really red, clearly out of a box. The 2 occasions in 2 decades that I've seen stepmother went like this. The first was a family party for grandparents' 60th anniversary. In front of everyone, she exclaimed, "OP!" and kissed my cheeks like she was thrilled to see me. Ignored me when everyone stopped looking. My grandparents are very proud people and clearly didn't tell extended relatives that their son had got divorced and remarried. 2 decades?
I don't know. No, maybe they know and then people just weren't saying anything. I'm thinking that maybe Dad low-key was like, all right, I'm just picking new family over my daughter. But then also made it like, I'm going to make it so that my daughter never has to experience that again. But also, I'm not going to be brave enough to just straight up tell my wife she was here's the line, you are way out of line talking to my kid like that. We don't know if that happened, but it's like, yeah, whatever.
For the whole day, people kept saying to me, "Oh, you're blank's daughter. Your mom looks so different. Her red hair looks interesting." And I had great fun repeating the phrase, "That's definitely not my mom. Dad left her for that one." Wait, people thought that your mom was, they knew your mom, but thought that your mom looked like your stepmom now?
Who are these people?
The family, the extended family members at the grandparents' 60th wedding anniversary. They had met Opie's mom before.
How close are you really to these people? Like, how much do you need to care? They don't even know what your mom even looks like.
Crazy. Never found out if dad or stepmother heard. I avoided them throughout and left early. You should never leave early because we have so many full episodes with stories just like this waiting for you. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit more to the story. Any final thoughts?
I certainly wouldn't let a woman screaming at my child for no reason get away with it.
The second time was my wedding. Stepmother was absolutely not invited. It was just meant to be a tiny ceremony, parents only. But Dad called a few days before and pleaded, "Just for the ceremony, not the reception. Don't worry, you won't know she's there." Highly doubt that. With her behavior, I highly doubt that we won't know that she's there. For some background, my mother-in-law had already kind of taken over. Parents' only wedding suddenly included a lot of her relatives. So I just shrugged. Whatever, nothing's really how I want it anyway, so why not? True to his word, Dad and stepmother didn't interact with anyone and left immediately after. Although stepmother couldn't resist a tiny flash of entitlement by bringing her own camera. Note, my mom didn't attend the wedding after hearing that my dad was invited. Also, she was very ill at the time, so she obviously didn't want dad to see her that way. But we visited her after the reception, and I gave her my bouquet, which was nice.
Nice.
I think in like a really sort of cowardly and misguided way, the dad thought he was doing what was best for OP, because immediately, like, that clearly action was taken because the custody arrangement immediately changed after that interaction with the screaming happened. And she had said something about how she missed mom, which, dude, if you're a father in a divorced parent situation, like, you have to understand that